playing him on Sunday, and all the hookers I've versed this year I've been in awe of, because this time last year I was watching them on the TV going, man, I wish I could verse them and sort of play against them and be on the same field as them, and now I'm doing it, and in a bit of awe, to be honest. So, but yeah, probably just looking at little parts of their game that I could probably put into mine. So yeah.
That's very cool. Last year you were watching them on TV. Now you got to tackle them and try and run past them all the time.
Right.
I mentioned you got a very interesting background. You represented Australian schoolboys in rugby league, but also Australian schoolboys cricket.
Yep.
And apparently the first league player to do both of those things since a guy I certainly remember and Hoffy remembers is about well before your time. Bronco de Jura did it in the early 1980s, former Newtown and South Sydney goal kicking back. Tell us about your cricket.
Yeah, so I stopped playing when I was probably 18 or 19, I reckon. I had some unbelievable memories in cricket. I was sort of playing them both growing up, and I was lucky enough to go on a lot of tours early on, representing New South Wales and the junior Australian teams, and I've still got some unbelievable mates and memories that I'll cherish forever with cricket. And cricket was a massive part of my life and still is now. I still get down to my local grade team and try and watch as much as I can, all my mates playing and stuff like that. So yeah, it was a big part of my life, and I just think rugby league was sort of the choice for me, and I didn't really get to choose one and put all my eggs in one basket, I guess you could say. So I feel like it was getting to that point where I sort of had to choose one and sort of put my head down at that, and I just felt that rugby league was the best decision for me at the time, and cricket's unbelievable in my life and very important. Yeah.
So what was your skill set? Bat, bowl, keep? What did you do?
I opened the batting and I was a wicket keeper.
Mate.
Well, open the batting. There's an opening in the back. You're green.
What?
What have you done to yourself out here, mate?
Mate, one of the current openers for Australia is younger than you.
Yeah, I know.
And you've also represented Malta in two internationals. Is that right?
Yep.
What's the Maltese background?
So my mum's grandparents are from Malta, or grandfather's from Malta, sorry. I'm lucky enough to represent them on a couple of occasions, and I wish I could sort of represent them a little bit more. It's just hard with the timing of the games, but yeah, it's a massive part in my life. I'm very proud to be Maltese and the heritage I have, and in learning about it all, it's been awesome for me the last couple of years. I've only really sort of started to learn about it over the last couple of years, and being able to play for them and have my pop there and my mum there was a very special day, and it's something that I hold very close to my heart. Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah. I love that. But
I could chat to Riley for another hour about cricket and international footy.
Well, let's go back to the cricket for a second.
Yeah.
You won't know this, Riley, but Ryan Hoffman himself is a very talented cricketer.
Yeah,
and it was only a year ago in Park Cricket in Melbourne here that Hoffy played in the grand final.
Yes.
There you go.
Hang on, don't get too excited. What happened on day one of that grand final, Hoffy? Just remind us.
Can I preface with, because
there's no prefacing.
I had to come and call a semi-final game, so we had to make sure we got out of the field quickly. But I got a globe, and we got bowled out for 34.
And how long?
Beauty.
Pardon?
And how long did it take the team to get 34 runs?
It took us about 45 overs.
Yeah.
We're in strife. The grass was long. We're in strife.
Yeah, I've had one of them days before. I've had one of them days. We got bowled out for 29 at Glenmore Park at a local bloody club near my place, and that was pretty funny. So,
bet you didn't take 45 overs though.
No,
it wasn't that much. No.
Now you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Hey, Riley Smith, great to talk to you, mate. Can't wait to call you again on Sunday as you take on North Queensland. Continued success, mate, for the remainder of the year, and get the pads back on. Australia might need you for the Ashes.
Perfect. Thanks, lads. Good to chat. Cheers.
Wow, Riley Smith, thank you. What a nice young man. Never spoken to Riley before, but that will not be the last time.
No, great kid. Great, really. He's an enthusiastic young bloke, isn't it? How refreshing is it to see him so enthusiastic?
Like it was palpable, him living the dream last year, watching these guys this year, running up against them. And he's only 22 years of age, Riley Smith, so very, very impressive.
Big future ahead because of the energy he shows when he plays.
If you missed any of tonight's pregame show or any of our pregame shows over the next 4 days, tonight's been Riley Smith and Dean Witters and Christopher's Corner. You can catch up in the ABC NRL Daily podcast feed with all of our pregame content from the weekend. It will be there, and every Monday morning I record a segment with Brett Sprigg we call 6 More, on the back of 6 again on a Sunday. We go through 6 topics from the weekend's games, NRL and NRLW. All you have to do is search for ABC NRL Daily wherever you get your podcasts, or find it via the ABC Listen app. Now, around the grounds, the AFL is underway across the road at the MCG. 13 minutes left first quarter. Hawthorn 12 leading Collingwood 0. And the Hawks are in 7th position and Collingwood in the top 4. So that is a big game in the AFL. Hawthorn leading Collingwood 12-0.
Looking good, 2 converted tries up.
That's right. Win behind them. Obviously, Pappenhausen not kicking for Hawthorn.
Not kicking goals, is he?
Dear, oh dear. Your texts are welcome. 0467 920 222, 0467 920 222. Andrew, there's something to be said for getting young new talent on for interviews like Riley Smith. Such enthusiasm, energy, and it doesn't sound like a chore. You're right, Sheriff. And Ralph Tucker, our producer, who's in his Ralph Tucker office tonight, back in Sydney, we talk about that all the time. Some of the best stories come from the young people who aren't jaded and have answered the same questions 100 times, and you learn something about them.
I'm not bitter about the media yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Tony says, I was confronted by an 18-year-old Indigenous guy on the main street with people around him, 74 and 54 kilos, telling me he was here first. I said, how old are you? He said, 23. I laughed, so did everyone, and I said, sorry, I was here before you. He then... Oh, that's a terrible story. I'm sorry about that, Tony. Andrew, Andrew and guys, as a proud white Australian Dragon supporter, I love the Indigenous round. Also find it hard to believe that racism is still amongst us. To me, all rugby league players are the same. Race, colour or religion should play no part. All players play the game for their team and for us, their supporters. Thank you to our Indigenous players. So proud of you. From Elizabeth. More of you guys had a best nickname for players and coaches. Bellyache, I reckon, couldn't be beaten, says Mark from the Central Coast.
I don't know. What's a packeter?
Yeah, we did nicknames on our first thought recently, and that ranked highly for Phil Sigsworth.
What about Matty Hilda? Waltzing,
yeah, it's a nickname he didn't like.
Really?
No, yeah. He didn't love that, Matt Hilda. Jason Hoogerworth was Watson. No, we did all this a long time ago. But you used to be able to identify players back in the 80s and probably before that just by their nickname. You look at the Balmain team of the late 80s, and you had Junior, Ciro, or the other nicknames that Roy and HG may have passed on along the years. Dallas for Tommy Rodonicus. There were, Wombat for Graham Eadie.
Yeah.
So you knew exactly what they're talking about. As Brisbane and the Melbourne Storm take to the field here at Amy Park in Melbourne. Crowd would be around the 20,000 mark. Let's go down to Ian Cohen and get an update down on the touchline. Koza, how's the atmosphere building here?
Yeah, well, as Dean said, and it's been a captivating pre-match. It's just been unbelievable. With some great young and old speakers. But Robbo obviously leading out Melbourne Storm. They've walked through the smoking ceremony, which has been at the top of the race there as they've made their way out from the sheds, and they're now arm in arm. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of a ceremony to recognise Indigenous round. We're just pausing for that at the moment.
Yeah, the smoking ceremony's taking place down on the field as well, Koza. Katoni Stags led out Brisbane in their very impressive Indigenous jerseys. And
please keep your attention on the big screen.
Peter Robinson led out the Melbourne Storm.
Since we arrived in Melbourne, we have proudly walked in the footsteps of the traditional custodians of this land.
Built on the strength of many cultures, we are richer for the contributions of our First Nations players and staff who have been part of our journey. Tonight, we have the privilege of playing at Amy Park in the NRL's Indigenous round, and we're looking forward to continuing our journey with the First Nations communities in the years ahead.
We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are playing on, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations. We extend our respect to all elders past, present and emerging. We also pay our respects to all First Nations people here or at home watching the game tonight. Thank you.
So that was a video presentation here in Melbourne, starting with Jerome Hughes, but featuring a number of players. who are lined up on either side of the ground. The referees are in Indigenous jerseys as well. That's Grant Atkins with his touch judges Matt Noyen and Chris Sutton. Chris Butler is in the bunker. The Melbourne team, Ryan Pappenhausen fullback. We've got Ryan Pappenhausen against Reece Walsh, by the way, tonight. The wingers for Melbourne, Grant Anderson and Xavier Coates. Centres, Joey Chan and Nick Meaney. 5'8" Cam Munster and the halfback Tyron Wishart. The lock, Trent Liero. Second row is Eliezer Katoa and Sean Bloor. Front rowers are Josh King and Stefano Utoikamanu. Hooker and captain Harry Grant. And at the big banner says Happy Harry 100. Exciting times 102, Indigenous round 2025. And, they've broken the banner. Strength and legacy are the two words down the bottom of it. Now, the bench for Melbourne, Jonah Pezzett, Adavalu Lusani, Tuikama Kamitha and Alec McDonald, 18th man Bronson Garlick, coach Craig Bellamy. For the Broncos, Reece Walsh fullback, wingers Selwyn Cobbo and Dean Mariner, Katoni Staggs and Girmat Shibasaki, the centres, Ezra Mam, 5'8", Adam Reynolds, half and captain. The lock, Pat Carrigan. Second row is Jordan Ricky and Jack Gajewski. Front row is Payne Haas and Corey Jensen. The hooker, Ben Hunt. And a bench of Billy Walters, Kobe Hetherington, Ben Tolte and Jaden Hunt. The 18th man is Tyson Smoothie. So the coach, Michael Maguire. And here we go. It's Brisbane's Reece Walsh kicking off, running left to right as you look at your radio. Taken by Munster right on the goal line. Passes it right to Stefano Utoikamanu. And he's going to be tackled 11 metres out from his own line. Carrigan came in there along with Haas. Now the ball played to Harry Grant. No headgear tonight for Harry. Moves it right to the front rower King. He scored 12 out from his own line. Grant left to Liero. Bounced into Carrigan. Also coming across Jordan Ricky. 20 metres out from the Melbourne line. First set of six, round 23 of the NRL. Left edge this time for the Melbourne Storm. As they have a good bustling defence again by Haas and two others, including Katoni Staggs. 22 out from the Melbourne line. Played to Grant. Goes right, Utoikamanu. He scored 31 out from his own line. Last tackled Melbourne. Played to Grant. Goes right, Wishart. The kick from just outside his 30. And he sends it down to the left wing. Taken by Selwyn Cobbo. 20 out from his own line. Heads up over the 30. Good strong run. He's made a successful return to the NRL after a stint in the Queensland Cobbo, and he'll play 12 out from halfway as Reece Walsh sends it open side right. They work to within 8 of halfway and 15 in from touch on the eastern side of the field as they come back towards the centre of the ground. Sea of purple everywhere in defence. 20 in from touch eastern side. Gee, Brisbane do look different in these jerseys. Hunt goes right to Haas. He stands out no matter what he's wearing. He scored 6 metres in Melbourne territory. No score after the opening minute and 30 seconds. Now Hunt goes right to Carrigan. He's swarmed there by Bloor and King and Grant. 34 out from the Melbourne line. Last tackle Brisbane. Played to Hunt. Short side right to Reynolds for the kick from 34 metres out. Down towards Pappenhausen. The chase is on from Walsh. He took him out. Gee, that was silly from Reece Walsh. Now he's going to argue with the referee that he dies for the football, but he did. He charged straight into Pappenhausen, and the first penalty of the game goes to the Melbourne Storm. 9 out from their own line. 2 minutes gone. Ryan Hoffman, no score.
He got there miles before the ball got there, so that's a very easy decision for the referee. Going to be a big night for the Melbourne Storm. Right edge in Nick Meaney and Grant Anderson. They looked a little brittle last week. They certainly have their work cut out for them with Shibasaki and Cobbo.
Tap taken by Joey Chan, and he's tackled 14 short of halfway for Melbourne. 11 in from touch western side by Staggs. Played to Grant. Comes right to Bloor. Sean Bloor, good strong run, but he's negated about 6 metres short of halfway. 19 in from the western touch line. And in there for the Broncos was Carrigan, and also coming across was Corey Jensen. Now making half a break Wishart, but put to the ground on halfway for the Storm. Plays the ball to Grant. He sets off from dummy, half up over the 40. He sends it away to the right wing. Charging downfield for the Storm, getting close to the goal line. It's on the toe. Ricochet Rabbit, 6 more tackles for Melbourne, who then do come up with a knock-on, says referee Grant Atkins, as Wishart ended up with the football down that right side. It will be a Brisbane scrum feed. 10 metres out from their own line in centre field. 3 minutes gone. No score. It was a brilliant pass going away there to the winger Grant Anderson down that right side. And in the end, they've knocked the ball on Melbourne, so Brisbane gets out of jail. No score after 3 minutes. Early thoughts downstairs on the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, conditions are wonderful for tonight. The surface is an absolute picture at this stage. Conditions very still. Big kicking game tonight.
Around the grounds in the AFL first quarter. Now Hawthorn 18, leading Collingwood 7 at the MCG. From the scrum, winner goes right, and the tackle made on Staggs at the northern end in front of the Billy Slater stand. 12 out from the Brisbane line by Joey Chan. Now comes left to Ricky. He's put in the deck. 18 out from his own line for the Brisbane Broncos. This crowd has built up very nicely late. There might be 22,000, 23,000 in the house as the Broncos are just inside their 30. Dummy half is Ben Hunt. Takes off, then sends a short pass away to the left edge. And the tackle made about 11 short of halfway there on Gajewski, and lost ball as he tried to play it, Jack Gajewski. So the error comes from the Brisbane Broncos, and Melbourne will get a scrum feed 11 metres in Brisbane territory, and right in centre field is where they'll take it. 4 scoreless minutes gone, Ryan.
Yeah, a couple of errors there, one in defence and another in attack for the Brisbane Broncos. The first time Melbourne Storm had a chance, they made a break down their right-hand edge with Anderson, so certainly warning signs for the Broncos.
So here's the scrum to be fed on the text line. Jeff says, good evening, gentlemen. What impressive people in tonight's interviews, Dean and Riley. Happy Indigenous round. Thank you, Jeff. Scrum 1, Melbourne goes to the left. Cameron Munster, whose future beyond next year is still being widely discussed. He's caught 32 out from the Brisbane line by Reynolds. Plays the ball to Pappenhausen, goes right to Bloor. He's tackled 28 metres out from the Brisbane line. Melbourne on the attackers. Grant goes right Liero, drifts across field, links up with Wishart, then away to Mini. Mini puts on a step and a fend, got away from Gearmat Chebasaki, then all the way back to the left. Mini then straightens into the defence, and he's taken by Carrigan head on. About 19 out from the line. Haas there as well. Grant dummies left, goes short side right himself. Haas comes across, makes the tackle 8 metres out from the Brisbane line. They'll play the ball now to Mini. Spins it left away to Wishart. Then away through Liero. He steps back in centre field. He's going to be held up there by Hunt and Carrigan and Jensen. And held finally called 7 metres out. Last tackle Melbourne. No score. Grant goes left to Munster. Short ball Pappenhausen. Put it on the toe. Reece Walsh getting back there. And flying through was Xavier Coates for the Melbourne Storm. But the ball ends up over the dead ball line. And Walsh had to tap it dead. So it's going to be a goal line dropout Brisbane. 5 minutes 40 gone. No score.
Yeah, it looked like the ball was going dead for all money, but the effort that Xavier Coates put in to put pressure on Reece Walsh, he really had no choice than to put the boot in at the end. So Xavier Coates really looking after his kicker there.
So now the line dropout from Adam Reynolds. He's going towards the eastern side. It's a short line dropout. It'll barely go the 10. It ends up being beautifully weighted, and it is knocked back by the Broncos, and they end up with it in that far corner. 7 metres out for their own goal line through Cobbo. He plays the ball, and they come back open side right. Shebasaki's nailed 10 out from his own goal line. 6 minutes 20 gone. No score. Thursday Night Rugby League on ABC Sport. As now Gajewski with a hit up. He's tackled 12 metres out from his own goal line on play 3. Ben Hunt sends it right to Reynolds. Dummied. Jinked. Got to the line. Offload to Katoni Staggs. Put the fend on. And Joey Chan came back at him with Coach to bring him down. 31 out from the Brisbane line. 4 in from touch western side. It's played to Staggs. Goes right to left. Walsh got a short pass on to support as Jensen's put to the ground. 34 out from his own line. Last tackle Brisbane, and it comes right to Reynolds from inside the 40. End over end kick to Pappenhausen. He fields a 20 out from his own line. Heads up over the 30 with a left foot step into Carrigan and Ricky, and he's scored 14 short of halfway. What are you looking to see from Pappenhausen after his return from a calf injury last week?
He looked a bit tentative and a bit proppy last week, I think, against Parramatta. Really encouraging sign. His first kick return, he just ran it back hard and straight, good 20 metres into the defensive line. He's looking for contact.
Wishart, 8 short of halfway, plays it, and it comes away left to Coates, and he's tackled a metre in Brisbane territory. Reynolds was there with Carrigan, played to Grant, centre field right. Munster away to Utogamanu. Great tackle by Hunt to bring him down. 8 metres in Brisbane's half. Good quick play the ball. Grant takes off from dummy half, runs into Carrigan, and Jensen stands in the tackle. 30 out from the Broncos line. Last tackle Melbourne. Dummy half is Grant. Goes left to Munster with a left foot kick from 30 metres out. We lose sight of the ball, but it's not a good kick at all. Taken in goal by Reece Walsh. 20 metre tap for Brisbane. 7 tackles set. No score after almost 8 minutes of play.
A lot's been said about missing Jerome Hughes. It's his kicking game, which I think they're going to miss the most. Going to be interesting to see what Craig Bellamy does with Jonah Pezzett. He only got 13 minutes last week. Does he bring him on a bit earlier for his kicking game?
Cobbo caught 14 short of halfway for Brisbane. Played to Walsh. Comes back open side right as the Broncos are 34 metres out from their own goal line. Ball played to Hunt, goes right to Carrigan up the centre. Charges there to Hunt and Liero. Taken 3 metres in Melbourne territory. Played centre field to Hunt southern end. Goes left to Ezra Mam. Plays at the line, then offloads to Reece Walsh. And he's over the 30. Linked up with support. Shibasaki away to Cobbo. And he's caught on that far side. 22 out for the Melbourne line. A metre in from touch by Mini and Anderson. Now Walsh goes right. Haas. Right up the centre goes this man Mountain. Caught 14 out from the goal line by King and 2 others. Played on the last to Hunt. Goes right to Reynolds. Reynolds to the 10. Puts in a stab kick and looks too deep. All those Stags! Has he got it down in from the dead ball line? Brannock is not so sure he's going to the bunker. Gee, that ended up being a near thing.
That looked very close.
It looked way too deep off the boot from Reynolds.
But the effort from the kick chase.
Chase is onside.
Oh, he's lost it.
Tony Staggs wants to ball on in the end goal. Good decision.
He got there in time. He got there in time, Tony Staggs.
I did too.
Just on the put down.
Couldn't ground it in from the dead ball line. So that means a 20-metre tap for Melbourne and a 7-tackle set. Really, that ends up being an opportunity loss for the Broncos. Touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, it was just too deep, but gee, Staggs did so well to get there. There's a lot of support here for the Broncos tonight. Lots of cheers. The Broncos almost got like a golden-coloured top. It's quite phenomenal.
Yeah, it looks very, very different. Here's the Storm heading up over the 30 now. And the tackle made 33 metres out from their own line on Anderson. He plays the ball to Pappenhausen. Short side right to Eli Katoa. He scored 6 short of halfway and 15 in from the eastern touchline. Ball played down to Grant. Sends a left Liero, turns it into King, charges full on into the defence of Jensen, Carrigan and Hunt, and he'll play it millimetres short of halfway near centre field. And it's Grant who fires it left to Munster. Show and go by Cam. Managed to break free of one. Jensen held on to by Ricky. 39 out from the line. Now Grant at a dummy half. Sends it left to Utogamanu. Flick pass in the Carrigan tackle to Liero. Keeps it alive right to King. And Josh King scored 26 out for the Brisbane line. Last tackle Melbourne. Grant goes left to Munster. Puts it up from 25 metres out. And coming in to get it. And a great catch for the Brisbane Broncos. They have it just out from their own goal line. And that's taken by Dean Mariner. He plays it. They send it left to Staggs. He's wrapped up by Liero and Grant. 15 out from his own line. 10 gone. Hoffy, they both come to play here tonight.
Yeah, Cameron Munster just didn't have the radar on that kick. But I've got to tell you, Tony Staggs did a great job of just running Xavier Coates off the human cheat code with the high ball. So they've done their homework, the Broncos.
And now it is Brisbane with it. 29 out from their own goal line. And the ball will be played by Shibasaki. Gee, nearly a lost ball there from the Broncos, just out from their 30, but played on the last. And it comes right to Reynolds, gets a running start before a low trajectory kick, bounces on the Melbourne 30, sits up for Pappenhausen. He turns it into Xavier Coates. Coates starts across field, straightens into Mam, Jensen and Haas, and he's going to be tackled 32 out from his own line. 10 minutes, 30 gone, no score. Melbourne with the footy. Wishart sends the ball right to Anderson. He straightens up against his future club. He's joining the Broncos from next year, Anderson. Meany out a dummy half, fends away from Carrigan, straightens back into Haas and Carrigan and stands in the tackle. 9 metres in Brisbane territory. Meany plays the ball, one-handed pick up by Grant. Goes right across field, links up with Blore, back to Pappenhausen, turns it into Joey Chan. Starts across field, he straightens, wrapped up 25 out. Very quick play the ball to Grant. Blindside left to Pappenhausen, turns it into Blore. Reynolds recovered in defence, then back to Grant. Grant stands and delivers to Joey Chan. He scored only 4 out from the goal line. Thrilling set this from Melbourne. Played to Grant on the last. He darts to his right, links up there with Munster, spins away from one-handed back to Grant, and he's felled and loses the ball. And Walsh comes away with it for Brisbane. 7 out from their own line. 11 and a half gone, no score, as now the Broncos send it left, and they have the ball just outside their 10-metre zone.
Well, Melbourne Storm playing with great speed. The speed they're generating is coming from their quick play the balls, and Harry Grant is just playing with the Broncos defence at the moment.
He's really running at the defensive line every play. As now Shibasaki, he sends the ball open side right. Brisbane have it 25 metres out from their own goal line. It's played to Hunt, sends it right to Carrigan, turns it into Haas. Payne Haas put down, 14 short of halfway. Great tackle around the legs that time. Coming from Liero as Carrigan offloads to his right. And it's big Jordan Ricky. Stands at a tackle, 3-man tackle, 4 metres in Melbourne's territory. Played on the last. Hunt goes right to Reynolds. They keep it alive to Staggs. Steps straight past Utogamanu. Then a loose ball on the ground. Jensen gets it back. Here's a towering kick from Jordan Ricky. Doesn't go very far. Ricky, though, taps it back and it's knocked on by the Brisbane player coming through Hunt. Change over. Melbourne gets it back 28 out from their own line. No score, 12 and a half gone. This is played at lightning speed.
It's a really exciting attack from both teams, but I've got to say the kicking game has a lot
Yes.
a lot to be desired. Kicks too big. Munster's got a few wrong. Reynolds has got a few wrong. So that's something both teams need to sort out.
Right edge, Bloor got the offload away. Up over the 30 goes Meany. Bounced away from the defence of Jensen. Still going into man and two others. Kajeski comes across with Jensen, and he's put down 5 metres short of halfway. 20 in from the eastern touchline. Ball played to Pappenhausen. Now it comes back on the inside of Liero. He's caught centre field. 2 metres in Brisbane territory. 13 minutes 10 gone. No score. Melbourne with the footy as Grant goes right. Utoikamanu charges at the defensive line. Good run, but cut down 35 out. Played quickly to Grant. He goes to his right. Wishart back on the inside to Pappenhausen. He goes without it. Look out. Picked up by Haas. Straight past Stefano. Across comes Wishart. Haas has got a big step on him. Then a one-hander back to support. Brisbane get over the 30. Shibasaki keeps it alive to Walsh. Walsh in the forward pass away to Como. Oh, we've seen a couple of rocks from Reece Lightning. And it'll be a Melbourne scrum feed. 22 out from their own line. 14 gone, no score in. Cohen, what about the pace of the game from ground level?
This is high octane. I tell you what, those petrol tickets are going to be in rare supply at about the 72nd minute, I would think. This is high octane football, and Brisbane almost opened it right up there. How about the work from Haas?
Yeah.
I actually, Melbourne could have been served if letting them score the try, because there was a definite knock-on from the Broncos in the lead-up.
Want to come back by the bunker?
Yeah.
Melbourne gets a scrum feed though. 22 out from its own line. Won by the Storm. Grant sends it left to Coates. He's tackled. Down 24 out from his own line by Carrigan and Ricky. Plays the ball to Grant. Goes right to King. Josh King tackled. 30 out from his own line. Haas was in there with Jensen. Centre field. Grant goes right. Utoikamanu. Good run again. And a terrible flick pass. It's cleaned up out the back by Wishart, but I'm not sure that would have pleased Craig Bellamy. 34 out from the Melbourne line. Grant. And it's a penalty. There was a shove on the marker, so a penalty goes against Melbourne to the Brisbane Broncos. 35 out from the Melbourne line, and it was a shove by Grant on that Brisbane player.
Well, this is the whole thing at the moment. The players are just staying in the ruck and making it hard. Every team in the NRL is doing it because they're not getting penalised, just loitering in the ruck. And Harry Grant took it into his own hands and pushed him, which leads to a penalty.
Yeah.
It's a blight of the game at the moment, and every team's doing it. Defenders are just staying in the middle of the ruck, making it hard for dummy halves to get to the football.
But if you're going to make it easy for the referee and give the marker a shove,
exactly,
it's on you in the end.
100%. No, Harry Grant didn't need to give him a shove, but there needs to be a lot more onus on players getting out of the ruck, defenders getting out of the ruck.
So it'll be Adam Reynolds taking the shot for goal. About 34 metres out, 20 in from touch on the eastern side. Adam Reynolds last week kicked 10 out of 10 against South Sydney to surpass 2,500 points. Only the second player to ever do that.
Did better than Paps last week.
A little bit, yeah. I'll take 100% over 25%.
Yes, certainly.
Here's Reynolds, right boot. Moves in the veteran halfback. He strikes it, likes it, kicks the goal. First points, Broncos. Brisbane 2, Melbourne 0. Thursday night footy on ABC Sport after 16 minutes. It's quarter time in the AFL. Hawthorn by a goal. The Hawks 21, leading Collingwood 15. We check in on the touchline with Ian Cohen.
And I think there's going to be a big story out of that AFL game. Jeremy Howe is stretching from the field after a really nasty head clash as well.
Hang on, are you doing boundary or are you doing sideline here?
How did you see that from Amy Park?
Well, there's 100,000 people in this precinct, which is absolutely amazing when you think about it. And, of course, Broncos with first point, so that's going to be important.
All right, welcome back to the footy. Ian Cohen, here's the kickoff from Ryan Pappenhausen. And the ball bounces over the 10-metre line, trapped by Ezra Mam. He gets up, sends it right to Corey Jensen, and he's tackled 15 out from his own line. Imagine Michael Carianis sitting at home listening to that update. Carianis, that's now on you for the remains of the weekend to give updates from SCG. So now on the 20-metre line, the Broncos. Goes left to Payne Haas, already having a big impact on this game. Caught 30 out from his own line, centre field. Brisbane 2, Melbourne 0 after 17 minutes. Hunt sends it away left to Kajeski. He's knocked to the deck, mid-quarter halfway, Brisbane territory. 19 in from the eastern touchline. Plays it to Hunt. Short ball comes right this time to Jensen. And Corey Jensen scored 6 short of halfway by Josh King. Played on the last 2, Hunt. Finds Reynolds for the kick downfield. End over end down to Xavier Coates. Drifts to his right, catches it. 10 out from his own line. Heads over the 20. And a good solid contact coming from Katoni Staggs. 27 out from the Melbourne line. Ball played to Munster. Goes right to Joey Chan. A right foot step, but he's not going anywhere. Swarming defence. Staggs hunted Carrigan. 29 out from the Melbourne line. Dummy half is Harry Grant. Goes right to Wishart, back on the inside to Grant Anderson and off the wing, and he's held in centre field, 15 short of halfway for Melbourne, who trailed 2-0 after 18 minutes. Now Liero, dummied left to Munster, takes on the defence himself and caught 6 metres short of halfway. Grant a dummy half. One-handed pickup. Goes left to Munster. Then to Blore. Staggs dumps him to the deck and forced a knock-on. It was a 2-man tackle, Staggs and Hunt, and it was extremely effective. He's very fired up, Katoni Staggs. And it's going to be a Brisbane scrum feed, 5 short of halfway, with Brisbane 2 leading Melbourne 0 after 18 and a half minutes. Macca from Forbes there, old mate. I'm partying with the Heifers tonight, celebrating the Tigers getting 2 points this weekend. Yeah, they're not going to be beaten this weekend, Macca, and they were great last Sunday. Fellas, listen to the call while trying to get my baby to sleep. I think she falls asleep quicker when Zane's calling the game. Go Storm. Big John. Hang on, is that a backhanded rap for Zane? Zane's very good with kids. The scrum to be fed by Adam Reynolds. 4 short of halfway.
I tell you what, the attack's been really exciting from both teams, and it's come from the back of both teams' front rower. Payne Haas has been getting some really quick play of the balls, and Stefano Tuikamanu is doing the same thing for Melbourne.
So now, ma'am, he works the ball right. Kajewski tackled 2 metres in Melbourne territory. Broncos 2, Storm 0. Played to Hunt. He goes centre field right to Carrigan, then away to Reynolds, out the back to Reece Walsh. He's over the 40, got straight past Chan. Now dragged to the ground, 27 out from the line by Munster. 5 in from touch, western side. Plays the ball to Staggs, sends it left to Reynolds. On the open side, away to Hunt, centre field. Plays out the back to Ezra Mam. Delayed pass finds Gimat. Shibasaki ran into his own dude. In fact, that was Gajewski ran into Shibasaki. 27 out from the Melbourne line, 15 in for the eastern touchline, eventually caught by Wishart. Played to Hunt, goes right, Carrigan. Turns it into Haas, and King is there. Little dipsy doodle out the back this time to Hunt. He links up with Mam, goes left to Cobbo, then back to the right to Hunt to Haas. In centre field, Payne Haas flick ball to Carrigan. Munster's there, flicks along the deck to Reynolds. He keeps it alive to Reece Walsh, then on to Ricky. Ricky over the 30, over the 20. Chan from behind with Munster, bring him down 8 out. This is for a minute. Played the Staggs on the last, goes himself, and it's a set restart. Melbourne's markers weren't square on. First one of the night. Played to Ricky. Goes left to Reynolds, away to Jensen. Straightens into King and Wishart. New Tuikamanu, 8 out from the line. My goodness, 20 and a half gone. 2-0 Brisbane. Comes to the left, Hunt to Reynolds. Turns it back on the inside. And Gajewski tackled 6 metres out from the goal line. Speed of this game, it could be 20 to 18. Hunt goes right to Carrigan. Links up with Mann. They've got numbers. Oh, the Harbour Bridge pass intercepted by Coates. Mann misses him. He's over the 30. Over the 40 past Staggs. Xavier Coates in pursuit. Mariner in pursuit from the other side of the field. Cobbo, but put the glasses down. Horse goes bye-bye. The X Factor is here at Amy Park. Xavier Coates runs 95, but we're going to the bunker.
He's called no try. Selwyn Cobbo came from the other side of the paddock.
Did he go into touch? I reckon he has.
I reckon his legs come in. Great effort, Selwyn Cobbo.
And his forearm. So it's no try. Or is it? So they're looking at the legs and the elbow. Maybe the arm stayed up in the end.
I think his legs are out.
I think his wrist's on the line too, isn't it?
Look, he saved 4 points at the other end. He's the only person on the planet that could have intercepted that pass.
Angles, whether his knees go up at any point.
it looks like something's over the line. And Adam Reynolds, by the way, has been limping in back play. Down to you, Koza.
Yeah, he chased Xavier Coates. He was just about on top of him.
Ezra Mann's gone too.
Pulled the hamstring. He's gone down into the shed. So there's a huge story here. Ezra Mann is hobbling off. So the Broncos have been decimated with this Xavier Coates attempt, but Reynolds has already gone down into the sheds, and it looks like Ezra Mann is now down in his haunches as well. So big impacts for the Broncos out of that chase.
Mann getting his left leg stretched.
It's simultaneous grounding, which is out, and no try. We have a decision.
Hell of a lot closer than what I thought.
Well, I think his arm actually hitting the ground happened a lot, maybe 8 frames after what we anticipated. It is no try.
It said simultaneous contact.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
So that is no try. It remains Brisbane 2, Melbourne 0. And for the moment, 21 minutes gone, the much bigger story is what's happened to the Brisbane halves. Adam Reynolds gone to the sheds. He was limping noticeably, and Ezra Mann could barely walk. He remains on his back with a trainer as Brisbane play 12 out from their own goal line.
He's actually offside, Ezra Mann.
I don't think he's going to play any role, though, in this current... He's going to try and stay out there, though.
I can't see why. He can't move.
Brisbane work it now up over their 20-metre line. Tackle made here on Jensen. 28 out from the Brisbane line. So this could decimate Brisbane. Reynolds and Mam in the same play. They work it right to Ricky, and he looks so confused, Ezra Mam, as to is he staying on, is he going off, and he's coming off the field, and onto the field it comes Jaden Hunt. Brisbane 8 short of halfway. Billy Walters has come on too, with Ben Hunt now moving to halfback as the kick's downfield taken by Pappenhausen. He's up over the 20. As soon as Koza has news on both Reynolds and Mam, we'll go down to him. But that is a major blow in the same play. Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds both forced from the field with leg injuries.
They both seem to be hamstrings too from the test that was going on with Ezra Mam. We all know Adam Reynolds has got a lot of history with hamstring injuries.
Meanwhile, Melbourne 9 short of halfway. You'd think that tilts the scales significantly in Melbourne's favour, even without Jerome Hughes. An inside ball here to Eliesa Katoa, and he scored a metre short of halfway. 20 in from the eastern touchline. 22 and a half gone. Brisbane 2, Melbourne 0. Grant to the left. Wishart to Munster, then away to Sean Bloor. Pass away to Joey Chan. Did well to reach out in front of him and take it before he's tackled by Jack Gajewski, who's moved to the right side of the field. In defensive terms for Brisbane. Kick downfield by Wishart. Straight down to Reece Walsh. 2 metres out from his own goal line. Runs across field now. Straightens into King. 6 out from his own line. 2-0 in favour of Melbourne. I mean, they're lucky, I suppose, they've got Ben Hunt, who can effortlessly switch back to halfback, one assumes. But, gee, losing both halves, Reynolds and Mann, that's massive.
Oh, that's huge. And also for what it does for the rest of their season as well, obviously depending on the severity of it. But at the moment, the Brisbane Broncos, it seems to be Tony Staggs might be going in and playing 5'8".
Jaden Hunt looks like he's at left centre. Gajewski's moved to the right side. So now Brisbane 19 out from their own line with a 2-0 lead, but they've had a really cruel blow in one play. Xavier Coates streaking 95 metres. Broncos on their 30 now. Carrigan plays it. Left foot kick from Reece Walsh. Looking to find the grass. I think he will between Pappenhausen and Anderson. And now it's Pappenhausen picking it up, 6 metres out from his own line. He heads up over to the 20, and he's scored 22 out from his own line. 2-0 Broncos, but then Cohen down on the touchline. The whole mood of this game has changed.
Yeah, absolutely. The Broncos bench is shell-shocked at the moment. Both are hamstrings, and Reynolds knew straight away. He thumped into the ground. He hobbled off. He went straight down the sheds. Mam obviously waited to have it assessed, but both are hamstrings.
Wow. Okay, mate, here it comes left to Munster. Left foot step away from Ricky into Carrigan. Ricky comes back at him with Haas. Put down 30 out from the Melbourne line. I'll ask you shortly, Hoffy, the impact that has on field for a team. As it comes right to Utogamanu. Bustles through one. Got the pass away right, Katoa. Links up with Anderson down the right wing. Cuts back in field. And he scored just short of halfway. 10 in from that far touchline. Played on the last to Grant. Goes left to Munster. He sends the kick up from halfway down to Reece Walsh. He'll take it on the full. 12 out from his own goal line. Sends a 20-metre pass to his right to Mariner. That was risky. He takes them on Mariner, but put to the ground 15 or 16 out from his own line. 24 and a half gone. Broncos 2, Storm 0.
Yeah, I don't think the change with Ben Hunt going to halves is going to be too dramatic for the Broncos if it was just one half. But I don't think they would have changed much having Tony Staggs in there at 5'8", and also, you know, they've only got one kicker now. The main kicker is going to be Ben Hunt, so it just makes it a bit easier for the Melbourne Storm kick pressure.
Carrigan sends a cut-out pass left to Jaden Hunt. Meany, great swarming tackle. 10 short of halfway, and 8 in from the eastern touchline. Plays the ball, and it comes open side right. As the tackle's made on Staggs, 4 metres short of halfway. Last tackle, Brisbane. Walters goes left. Walsh is doing the kicking. Sends up a towering left footer. Wobbly looking thing that Xavier Coates errs on the side of caution, lets it bounce and just gets there before Gajewski gets him. 7 out from the Melbourne line. Risky practice there from Xavier Coates. Plays the ball now to Pappenhausen. Remembering Brisbane leads Melbourne 2 points to 0 with an Adam Reynolds penalty goal. But he's now in the sheds, unlikely to return, I'd imagine. Joey Chan with a hitter as Tui Kamikamitha replaces Stefano Utogamanu for Melbourne. Their first interchange. Grant sends it right to Anderson. Stepped away from Carrigan. Straightens over the 20. Put to the ground by Hunter Gajewski. 22 out from his own line. Now Grant goes right to Kamikamitha. He scored 32 out from his own line. Really good defensive set there from the Broncos. Last play Melbourne. Wishart with the clearing kick from just outside his 30. Dropping back Cobbo. He catches it facing his own goal line. 10 metres out from his own line, and he's got the turning circle of a big cruiser, and he's now put to the ground 25 out from his own line after 26 minutes. Broncos lead 2 points to 0. Played to Staggs, goes right to Shibasaki, and he's scored his own 30. The enthusiasm and the intensity from Brisbane certainly hasn't wavered with the shock of Mam and Reynolds leaving after the same play. Kobe Hetherington's out there too now for Brisbane, who are 12 short of halfway. Mariner plays it, goes left to Hetherington, going to be tackled 5 short of halfway by Grant. Plays the ball to Walters, goes right, Carrigan to Hunt, then away to Reece Walsh to the 40, links up to the right wing of Dean Mariner. Great tackle by Coates. 32 out from the Melbourne line, 4 in from touch western side. Last play, Gajewski goes left, it's Walsh again with a kick from 32 metres out. Challenging one for Pappenhausen. Walsh coming through, ball tapped back by Walsh for Ricky. Ricky puts it on the toe, and Johnny on the spot. Harry Grant's there to pick it off the deck. 3 out from his own goal line. The thrilling play continues. 27 minutes gone. Brisbane 2, Melbourne 0. Munster goes right. Pappenhausen, he's knocked to the deck. Coffee 8 out from the Storm goal line.
Yeah, great work, Harry Grant, showing up at a place where he probably shouldn't be, filling up as he does always for the Melbourne Storm. Tell you what, the Brisbane Broncos attack is looking a shade better than Melbourne at the moment because they're a lot more direct. Melbourne Storm are looking very direct and getting quick play the balls on the back of Utoi Kamanu. They seem to have gone away from that.
Forget your text 0467 920 222. Pappenhausen joins the line, nearly broke free. Dragged to the ground though by Hunter Gajewski, 3 short of halfway. Played to Chan on the last. Goes right, Munster. Towering kick, but very, very shallow. Who wants it to go straight through the hands of one Bronco into the awaiting arms for the Melbourne Storm. They've got it 14 metres out, and it's 6 more tackles as well. So now, do they go to the right? It's played there by Anderson. They do go right to Munster. There's another Bronco down in back play. Wishart. He threatens to slice right through, and he does. Tyron Wishart, a brilliant individual try. He had slipped over. He stepped through Hetherington and Hunt, and he's over to score. First try of the game, Melbourne's Tyron Wishart. We have had 28 minutes and 15 seconds. Melbourne in front. Storm 4, Broncos 2. They're dropping like flies. I think it's Selwyn Cobbo down now, Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, Selwyn Cobbo is down. They were screaming for it on the right edge of Melbourne Storm because they had about 5 on 1. Tyron Wishart got a mongrel of a pass. They had to step in off his right foot. Still had enough composure to get the ball over the try line, but he seems to be getting to his feet, Selwyn Cobbo, because Broncos cannot afford to lose another one.
Wow, touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, just had it confirmed from Brisbane officials, both hamstrings for those two, so that is huge. They're going to be out for how long, we'll wait and see. Good news is Cobbo's obviously up. He needs one more try to get to 50 NRL tries. Maybe he can do it tonight, but the Broncos appear to be almost galvanised by this lack in the halves. They've got some real starch. They went so close before. They're putting Storm under pressure.
Cobbo really cobbled as he walks back to the player huddle in goal. Noticeable limp. And one question answered, it is Nick Meany taking the shot for goal. 20 out, 13 in from the eastern touchline.
I think Craig made the decision last week after the third miss.
Yeah, about 60 minutes into the game. Here's Mini. Melbourne 4, Brisbane 2. Reynolds and Mam gone. Cobbo injured. Still getting treatment in goal. Mini tries to cast all that out of his mind. Moves in with the right boot. He strikes it, likes it, kicks the goal. Melbourne 6, Brisbane 2. Thursday night footy here at Amy Park in Melbourne. Almost half an hour gone around the grounds in the AFL. It's Hawthorn still by 2 goals in the second quarter. Hawks 33, leading Collingwood 21. And Brisbane, oh mate, he's in trouble, Cobbo. He's still with the trainers in.
But it just shows you that Xavier Coates' intercept off the back of it.
Yes.
It saved Brisbane scoring a try. 2 Brisbane halves got injured from it. And Selwyn Cobbo, who did the big chase, I don't think that would have helped whatever his ailment is.
So now the kick-off coming. Can you please identify which player it is when there are other players with the same name? Who have we got tonight? My apologies for not doing that. Have we got the same names? Here's the kick-off.
It's going to be Grant, Anderson, Harry.
Yeah, I don't think that counts. Here's Kamitha. He's going to be taken 18 out from his own goal line. And question, why does a professional athlete do a hammy? Is it just bad luck? Ask Jen and Rusty. As now up the middle goes Blore, taken 23 out from the Melbourne line, and some players are more susceptible than others.
Biomechanics.
Here's Josh King. I'll get to explain biomechanics shortly. Here's King tackled on his own 30. Ball played to Grant. That's Harry Grant. Goes right to Katoa. Elias has tackled 8 metres short of halfway. 20 in from touch eastern side. Melbourne with it with a 6 points to 2 lead. Liero sends it left to Munster. Turns it back into Joey Chan. He gets to halfway, and I'm watching Selwyn Cobb on the left wing. He's trying to run it out, whatever it is. But he looks ginger. Here's Wishart. Puts up the kick from halfway. Coming in for it, Reece Walsh. Munster hit the deck, chasing it through, but play on, says referee Atkins, and Walsh is tackled by the chase of Kamitha and Blore. 28 out from the Brisbane line. Played to Gajewski. Goes centre field left to Dean Mariner. He's wrapped up 32 out from his own line. 9 left in the half. Boy, we had enough excitement and drama for you. And it's 6-2 to the Broncos. The Stags in centre field. Takes on Liero and Grant. Caught 9 metres short of halfway. There's Jaden Hunt and Ben Hunt.
Oh, there you go.
Didn't take me long. He's playing half centre field. He scored right on halfway. Lost the ball backwards, but it was stripped, says referee Atkins, and a relieving penalty goes to the Broncos right in centre field on halfway. 2-1 the penalties to Brisbane, and this will give them great field position with 8 minutes. Oh, we've got a challenge. Here's Grant Atkins.
Challenge previous was 3. This would have been 4 and a completed tackle. Challenge for a strip from Melbourne. Who's losing that? Who's losing that license? Who's losing that license?
I think the boys are saying who's got their challenge license.
Yeah.
Look at the right hand here of Sean Blore.
It's on the ball. It doesn't seem to be stripping away. It's a 50-50 one, I think.
Well, Harry Grant's giving Payne Haas that same feedback.
He flicks at the ball with the intent to strip, to cut the challenge of
No more challenges for Melbourne.
Right at the end there, he kind of did. Penalty, Brisbane, challenge gone for Melbourne. So, Melbourne can no longer do what they just did. And Ben Hunt, with an end-over-end kick over the western touchline, finds the line 27 out for the Melbourne line. Chance here for Brisbane to head back. Trailing 6 points to 2. Tap taken by Gajewski. No, not ready.
These guys have to come back and we want him in front of you.
No one was ready.
Here we go.
So Gajewski will take the tap again. And he does the exact same play. Runs it into Munster. 22 out from the Melbourne line. And 11 in from the western touchline. Play the ball now to Billy Walters. Goes left away to Kobe Hetherington. He scored 15 out for the Melbourne line. He'll play it to Walters. Looks short side right, but goes open side left to Hunt. Drifts across field, then plays with a cutout ball to Shibasaki. Anderson, brilliant defence in off the wing. Put him to the deck, and he's finished off now 9 metres out from the goal line. Played to Walters. He dummies, goes himself, Billy Walters, and he scored a metre out. Brisbane on the attack, down 6 points to 2. 7 minutes 30 left in the half. Stags dummy half. Floats a pass away to Hunt. Puts in a stab kick. Chasing through was Walsh. Ricocheted off a Melbourne player. Scooped up by Pappenhausen, and he's knocked to the ground by Hunt. 10 out from his own line. Remains 6-2 to the Storm.
Yeah, he was sitting on that, Reece Walsh. He was waiting for that kick. Ben Hunt just didn't get it through the line. Great work there by Harry Grant to snuff away that kick and that try-scoring opportunity.
So now it's Melbourne. And it's Mini hitting it up. Tackled centre field. 24 metres out from his own line. Ball's played. Comes away to, that's Lasati on the field now. Young forward for Melbourne. Caught 32 out from his own line by Jaden Hunt. Plays the ball to Grant. Goes left to Karma Kamitha. He straightens. Good strong charge into 3 defenders, including Carrigan and Haas. And he ends up down on the deck, 9 metres short of halfway. Does Tui. Last play Melbourne down, leading by 6-2. Comes right Wishart, 8 short of halfway. Kicks it downfield to Cobbo. First time he's been tested since suffering the leg injury. Left foot step, accelerates into the chase. And he's going to be taken there by Lasati and Katoa. 30 out from his own goal line. Gets to his feet. Okay to play it, and then a bit tender as Brisbane work it within 14 of halfway. Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mann both gone in the 20th minute, same play. They've both done their hammy. Comes to the right for the Brisbane side. Jordan Ricky playing at right centre. He's cut down by Chan. 4 short of halfway. Played to Hunt. Goes left. Kajeski to Carrigan. Short ball to Hetherington in centre field. And Kobe's tackle 10 metres in Melbourne's territory. 2 tackles left here for the Broncos. Walters goes left to Haas. Dummies and straightens his way into 3 defenders. Great run. Tackle 26 away from the goal line. Last play Brisbane. Walters goes right. Ben Hunt the kick from 27 metres out. Very, very shallow. Everyone lets it bounce. And it bounced right back towards Brisbane's line. Then it's tapped back by Walters to Hunt. Back to Walsh. 44 out for the Melbourne line. Walsh throws a long ball that bounces up to Dean Mariner on the western touchline. Chip and chased by Mariner. Taken by Xavier Coates. And he's put to the ground. 9 out from his own line. 3 in from touch western side. Quickly played to Pappenhausen. He scored 13 out from his own line. It's all unfolding in front of you on the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, look, it certainly is. If Brisbane can get to the half at 6-2, Madge will take that, you would suggest, and it gives them an opportunity to reload. But they've been really gallant out here without 2 of their leaders.
Yeah, for sure and certain. Here is Karma Kamitha for Melbourne. He's tackled on his own 30. Carrigan was there, along with Hetherington. Played to Grant. Goes left to Pappenhausen. Takes off into Ricky. One-hander back to Grant. He sends it right to Munster. Quick hands on the inside to Wishart. And he's nailed by Walters. And it's a set restart as well here, coming now for the Melbourne Storm. It was a strip, but there were 2 in the tackle, and Melbourne now 35 out from the Brisbane goal line. Grant dummy half. Goes to his right. An inside ball to Lasati. He's tackled 29 out from the Brisbane line. Centre field. You get the feeling Brisbane might be vulnerable right now. Here's Grant from dummy half. Split them again. Walsh comes across to make the tackle with Ricky. He stands in the tackle. Grant 5 out from the Brisbane line. Now play to Wishart. Fires it left to Pappenhausen. Dummy steps through Walters. Can't offload. Taken 2 metres away. Desperate tackle by Ricky on the last. Crossfield kick by Grant. Through the hands of Mariner, I fancy, and over the western touchline. And it is going to be a Melbourne played the ball 10 metres out from the Brisbane line. 4 left first half. 6-2 in favour of the Storm.
Yeah, we've been waiting for the crossfield kick for Xavier Coates, and in the end it happened from about 10 metres away. A little chip kick from Harry Grant to try and get Xavier Coates one-on-one with Dean Mariner. Dean Mariner just gets his fingers to the ball to keep it away from Coates.
So Melbourne will get another set. 10 out right in front. Liero plays it to Grant. Goes right to Wishart. Turns it inside to Eliasa Katoa. Watch for him under a high ball at the end of this set if they don't score. He's tackled 5 metres out from the line. Dummy half Harry Grant, who's had a phenomenal start to this game. Drifts to the left, offloads to Wishart. Out the back, Munster, quick hands along the ground. And Pappenhausen dives on a 12 metres out from the Brisbane lines. 6-2 in favour of Melbourne. Dummy half is Grant. Sends it right to Munster. Takes on the line with the right foot step. Carrigan's in there with Walters and Hetherington. He's still fighting his way, Munster. Then got the pass away to Harry Grant. He goes all the way left to right. Links up with Mini. Mini got past Shibasaki. But now Shibasaki came back at him to make the tackle. And it's another set restart for the Melbourne Storm. It turns into a penalty. Penalty to the Melbourne Storm. Penalties 2 apiece at 6-2. I'd normally be a strong advocate to take the 2 points with 2 minutes 40 left in the half, but you get the feeling they smell blood in the water here, Melbourne.
Yeah, Harry Grant's got the ball. He's looking for the quick tap straight away.
Takes it 10 metres out. Goes left now to Wishart. Links up with Liero, centre field. Plays out the back to Munster to Pappenhausen. He dummies, goes himself, beats 1-2. That's the human mullet at his best. Ryan Pappenhausen over for Melbourne. There was 1 set too many for the Brisbane defence. 2 minutes 20 left in the first half. Melbourne 10, Brisbane 2 with a Ryan Pappenhausen special, Ryan Hoffman.
Yeah, the Melbourne Storm, they finally got it right. They've been trying to attack on the edge, but they've been way too shallow, and the Broncos are landing on them as they catch the pass. That time, Ryan Pappenhausen got a lot deeper and hit the ball at a bit of speed. He throws the dummy. He only needs a small gap to be able to get through. Try time, Melbourne.
And that's his 13th try of the year. Touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, well, he goes well against the Broncos. He scored 7 tries in the last 6 games against them, including 4 in one match. So you just felt that the damn wall was starting to crack and break. We thought that they might have got there at 6-2. It's not going to be that way. It might be 10 or 12-2. But the halftime can't come quick enough for the Broncos now.
Yeah, very kickable goal here for Beanie. 12 out and 7 to the left of the post. 20 in from touch western side, actually. Question here, how's Cobbo doing? He's still not moving with his normal gait, that's for sure.
But I don't think there's any injury, any chance of coming off, but he certainly doesn't look comfortable.
He'll get treated, no doubt, at half-time. Peter from Oran Park says, Andrew, it's so easy to do a hammy. I did one getting out of bed. My wife said it's my age. I hear that, Peter. So here's the kick from Mini. He's 1 from 1. It's Melbourne 10, Brisbane 2. Inside a minute remaining in the first half. Mini with the right boot. Very handy range for him. Kicking towards the Slater stand. He moves in. Ooh, he just shaves the far upright. He gets it. He's 2 out of 2. That's all that counts. And it's now Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2. And we're down to 40-odd seconds to go in the half. On the text line, 0467 920 222. G'day, team. Big thanks to all the staff at Westmead Hospital and the ABC team, both playing a huge role in my neurosurgery recovery. Love you all. Thanks so much, Rooster Cam. And I hope you're doing all right, Rooster Cam. In the AFL, Hawthorn kicking away. 51-23 over Collingwood. Down 6 minutes left in the first half. On the text line, g'day, Andrew. I hope this helps. An imbalance between the quadriceps, front of the thigh, and hamstrings, back of the thigh can increase strain on the hamstrings. Stronger quadriceps may pull on the hamstrings, making them more vulnerable, says Joe at Blue Mountains.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That's in keeping with your biomechanics.
Biomechanics, yeah.
Now it's Melbourne, just 6 out for their own line. Karma Kamitha plays it, goes right to Lasati. He's tackled 11 out from his own goal line. Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2. Halftime cannot come quick enough for the Broncos. They work at right edge. Katoa caught 22 out from his own line. Plays the ball. Grant takes off again. Over the 30, linked up with Anderson, but the defence comes across 11 metres short of halfway. Last play of the first half upcoming. Grant from dummy half. Takes him on again. Then sends a Specky over to his left to Lasati. He dummies, then straightens into Ricky and Haas and tackled 8 metres in Brisbane territory, and that ends a dramatic, exciting first 40 minutes of football. And the team that's won 16 of the last 17 encounters between these two teams leads 12-2 at half-time. That's Melbourne over Brisbane. For Melbourne tries to Tyron Wishart in the 29th minute. Ryan Pappenhausen in the 38th. Nick Meaney 2 from 2. 1 restart for Melbourne and 1 unsuccessful challenge. For Brisbane, 2 points was a penalty goal to Adam Reynolds and 1 restart. The penalties are 2 apiece. But the main talking point and story from that first 40 minutes is Adam Reynolds limping straight from the field after trying to chase Xavier Coates, who sprinted 95 metres from an intercept. He beat Reynolds and he beat Ezra Mam, who tried to tackle him. Ezra Mam limped from the field after getting some on-field treatment with a hamstring injury. They both were out on the very same play, moving Ben Hunt from hooker to halfback and Katoni Staggs from centre to 5/8, and all sorts of reshuffles. Jaden Hunt to left centre, right, Jack Kajewski on the right side of the field. But the bottom line is, Ryan Hoffman, the Storm leads 12-2.
Yeah, certainly. Look, there's still a lot of positivity there for the Broncos. I like that they haven't put the cue in their rack. They're still looking to attack. They just need to cut out the errors that are inviting Melbourne Storm into their own end. I think the Broncos' scramble has been great. It really has been on their line. There's just been a couple of lapses due to multiple sets on them, but they've done a great job. Look, for Melbourne, it's just going to be water on a rock. They're just going to keep chipping away. But I have to admit, their scramble in defence too. Sometimes when you get different players playing in positions, they play bit of unorthodox that you haven't trained against, which can make it more difficult for a defensive team.
Let's go down to the touchline. Ian Cohen, what a dramatic 40 minutes that was.
An amazing 40 minutes, and I was watching in back play when they both went down, and obviously all the attention was on Xavier Coates, but Reynolds just walked straight off. He knew, done and dusted, finished, so, that's going to have huge impact, obviously, for the Broncos going forward as well. But two big, huge stories. I watched Cobbo. He was still very ginger as he was walking off as well, so at the moment, they have got plenty of work to do. They obviously conceded that late try, which wasn't ideal. So no doubt at all, Madge will get stuck into them and they'll try and resurrect some sort of form. But up until that stage, they'd been going really well and almost had the ascendancy over Melbourne Storm at that stage.
In the AFL, another goal to the Hawks, 57-23. They lead Collingwood late in the second term. On the text line, guys, like the commentary, has there been a change to the noise levels being projected from the ground on both radio and TV? It's way too loud and wrecking the listener's viewers' experience. Routinely it rounds out the commentary and we can't even hear you speaking. Just don't want to miss anything, says Raider Sam. I'm the last person to judge. It sounds all right in my cans. It's a very subjective thing, getting the sound right. Hollywood, maybe you can lower it a little bit, I'm not sure, but we'll see what others have to say, Raider Sam. But thank you for your feedback, mate. 0467 920 222. Half time, Melbourne 12 leads Brisbane 2. You're with Ryan Hoffman, Ian Cohen. I'm Andrew Moore on ABC Sport. Can't wait for the second half. How does Brisbane respond without Reynolds and Mam? And will Cobbo be back for the second half? We'll find out shortly. For now, though, let's head to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News. Good evening, I'm William Howard. US President Donald Trump says Apple will invest an additional $150 billion in American manufacturing, which will see the tech giant avoid having to pay a newly imposed 100% tariff on chips and semiconductors. The BBC's Lily Jamali reports.
Apple has been trying to appease US President Donald Trump, who threatened to impose tariffs specifically on Apple products. What Trump has really wanted all along is to have Apple bring manufacturing back to the U.S. Instead, what Apple has done is they said that iPhones, for example, bound for the U.S. will now no longer be made in China, but they will be made in India. Again, not quite meeting the mark. So what Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, can do with this announcement is point to the fact that he's bringing parts of the supply chain to the United States.
The Kremlin says Russian President Vladimir Putin and his US counterpart Donald Trump will meet in the coming days without specifying further details. It follows Mr. Trump saying there is a good chance he could meet both the Russian and Ukrainian leaders following what he described as very good talks between Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Mr. Putin. A Kremlin aide says they are now beginning concrete preparations together with their American colleagues to hold a meeting. Mr. Trump has imposed a Friday deadline for Russia to agree to a ceasefire or face new US sanctions. The federal government is being urged to implement a number of recommendations from a report into the Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme to improve access to life-saving medicines. The report, which was released last year, has found drugs are taking an average of 22 months to be listed on the scheme once approved by the regulator, a period which advocates say is causing patients unnecessary harm. The CEO of Rare Cancers Australia, Christine Coburn, says the lack of action is disheartening.
The findings came out, the recommendations came out 1 year ago, and we're still waiting for a plan. Now, we know the Minister has impetus to get these medicines and reform up and going, but we've waited far too long.
The Health Minister says the government is working through the review to improve access to medicines. Australia's youngest ever senator, 21-year-old South Australian Charlotte Walker, says she's been the victim of constant misogynistic online abuse. Fellow Senator Pauline Hanson also questioned her ability in Parliament given her age after a disagreement on net zero emissions last week. Speaking on ABC Radio this morning, Senator Walker said the online abuse is unacceptable, but she's got enough support to get through it.
Some of the comments have been really hard. Definitely a lot of misogyny. That's politics. I think it's people are going to say what they want to say online. That's the job. And I think it's important to have support systems around you because, that's hard to be said to me as a young woman
New research has uncovered cockatoos have their own unique dance moves. The study by Charles Sturt University has analysed 45 social media videos of the birds dancing and identified 30 distinct movements, 17 of which had never been documented before. Co-author of the report, an animal behaviour expert, Raphael Frere, says some of the moves are similar to human dances.
There's a range of movements, of sort of head-banging type movements and the whole sort of body down and up, we call downward, sort of sidestepping and turns.
Consumer advocates say phone companies are shrieking their legal obligations to help customers who struggle to pay their bills amid a rise in complaints to the Ombudsman. The Telecommunications Industry Ombudsman has reviewed more than 900 complaints between April last year to March this year and has found the telcos are often denying requests for financial hardship support. Carol Bennett is the CEO of the Australian Communications Consumer Action Network. She says she's not surprised, but she is disappointed.
This financial hardship standard that has been put into place is now a legal requirement on telcos. It shows that they're really not taking their legal obligations seriously enough. And it also shows, I think, that the regulator is clearly not ensuring compliance.
New evidence suggests people returned to live among the ruins of Pompeii after the ancient Roman city was devastated by a volcanic eruption. Archaeologists believe some survivors who could not afford to start a new life elsewhere returned to the site and may have been joined by others looking for a place to settle. And that's the latest ABC News.
You meet the most interesting people on Sunday morning.
I'll tell you what, I'd kill for some clean air and a good coffee over here, and there's no generic latte over here.
Come home straight away, please. Join the rest of Australia right here on Sunday morning.
Australia All Over on ABC Radio. The summer of cricket has arrived early.
Lobs it straight down the ground for six. He's on the pull shot. Boy, did he get that.
White ball cricket takes centre stage in the top end as Australia take on South Africa.
Shout for leg before, finger goes on.
It all starts on Sunday on the ABC.
Down the pitch, there we go. Bang.
Every ball live. Just click on the cricket button.
The 2025 NRL Premiership. It's Indigenous round.
There was a shove on the marker, so a penalty goes against Melbourne to the Brisbane Broncos. 35 out from the Melbourne line. Here's Reynolds. Right boot. Moves in the veteran halfback. He strikes it, likes it, kicks the goal. First points, Broncos. Adam Reynolds, by the way, has been limping in back play. Down to you, Koza.
Yeah, he chased Xavier Coates. He was just about on top of him.
Ezra Mann's gone too.
Pulled the hamstring. He's gone down into the shed. So there's a huge story here. Ezra Mann is hobbling off.
It's played there by Anderson. They do go right to Munster. There's another Bronco down in back play. Wishart. He threatens to slice right through, and he does. Tyron Wishart, a brilliant individual try. He had slipped over. He stepped through Hendrickson and Hunt, and he's able to score. First try of the game, Melbourne's Tyron Wishart. Takes it 10 metres out. Goes left now to Wishart. Links up with Liero, centre field. Plays out the back to Munster to Pappenhausen. He dummies goes himself. Beats 1-2. That's the human mullet at his best. Ryan Pappenhausen over for Melbourne. There was one set too many for the Brisbane defence.
The 2025 NRL Premiership. It's Indigenous round.
Yes, half-time, 12-2, Melbourne leading Brisbane. You're with Ryan Hoffman, Ian Cohen. I'm Andrew Moore here at Amy Park in Melbourne. I was very interested, while we're at the news, Hoffy, to look into the Brisbane dressing room, and Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mann are both in their, trackies and civilian clothes, as it were, but both still sitting with the team in the huddle, and Adam Reynolds still giving instructions to his team. Is that normal?
Yeah, I think, especially a key position player, like Adam Reynolds, he definitely want to be involved, and he's that type of leader for the Broncos too, and he can just give them a bit of direction because he was out there, so he has a bit of a feel for what's happening. He would have seen what the defence has been doing, so there is a bit of knowledge. Also, I noticed after the last try, Jerome Hughes in the Melbourne Storm box, actually mic'd up and actually giving some instructions down to the bench. So both injured halves are helping out their team.
Interesting. On the text line, we had Raider Sam saying before the news, thought the crowd level, both with our coverage and TV, was way too loud. I must admit, listening to those highlights back, which I'm reluctant to do, but it sounded fine to me. But Mike says, agree with Sam regarding the sound from the crowd. On the other station, very hard to hear the commentary. Now I'm back with you guys, says Trucker Mike, northbound on the Hume. G'day, Andrew. It's Brendan from Toowoomba. Really enjoying listening to your coverage. No problem whatsoever with the noise levels. Keep up the good work. The Barry says, this is looking like a cracking game until the double hammy whammy to Reno and Mammy. Don't think Bronx can get Whitting into the grind. Hello, team, and Hollywood. Personalising for the great Stewie Baker out. Man of sound down here in Melbourne. The mix seems great to me on the ABC Listen app. Great call and audio mix as always. Well, there's a wrap for you. Nick says maybe it's your listening device, Raider Sam, sounding fine to me. Nothing wrong with the mix, Andrew. It sounds fine. I reckon Reno must be gone for the home and away season. The way pulled up, says Pete in Ride. Tom O says, did a left hammy while surfing. Snapper took off and front foot just slipped under the water. Knew it was bad. Took me half an hour to get back to my combi. That's real good surfer speak, isn't it? It certainly is. Love that.
He got all the phrases in there.
0467920222. Gents, looking forward to the Manly tragic dad Rob coming to visit me in Canberra to watch the game tomorrow. Last time we watched Manly play Canberra together, it was his birthday last year at Brookvale. Canberra came back to win 26-24. Do you know if John Gibbs will be at the game? No, he won't be tomorrow. No, he won't be down in Canberra. I'm sure Dad would love to meet him and ask about playing with his hero Graham Eadie from Michael in Canberra. Any other time, Michael, that Gibbs is at a game, he'll be more than happy to talk to your father, I'm sure.
Could I just say, speaking about the Raiders, condolences to the Tills family.
Yeah,
on Dad, Mick. We were family friends with the Tillses and obviously Sam Bucko as well. So condolences to their families.
That's horrible. That tropical disease that's going on in Queensland. It's killed 35 people, including Slam and Sam Bucko, and he was one of my favourite players to watch in the late 80s with Canberra and into his time at Brisbane, but at the club level, State of Origin particularly, and Test level, he had a couple of years there, Hoffy, that he was literally unstoppable.
Oh, he was a Test player and was a beast in the Test arena, and family had a bit to do with Sam over the years, and he was a larger than life character. So big weekend for the Raiders down there in Canberra.
Yeah, it's so sad. Just in his 60s, had that horrible heart problem a couple of years ago, and maybe the complications with that and this awful disease going around at the moment. So, our best wishes to the Bucko and the Tills families, that is for sure. Brisbane first team back for this second half. Now,
I think it's positivity for the Broncos. I think Madge would have been very positive in the sheds. Look, they get a try just after half time. They are well into this game. They need to be positive. They need to still play football against Melbourne. So there are going to be opportunities there, but you've got to play football. You cannot put the cue in the rack.
Looking at Cobbo walking around with the trainer, so he is back out there. Melbourne yet to reappear for the second half. Melbourne 12 leading Brisbane 2. Now tomorrow we're on air from 5:30 on the ABC Listen app. Really looking forward to flying back tomorrow and driving up to Newcastle for the 6 o'clock game. That's what time Analog Radio listeners will be joining us at Hunter Stadium. Newcastle against a Penrith team going for a 9th straight victory. Then it's at 8 o'clock game tomorrow night. Canberra hosting Manly Warringah, who won 9 of their last 12 games against the Raiders. Then on Saturday, we're on air from 2 p.m. We'll be at Stadium Australia all day. At 3 o'clock, it's St George Illawarra against Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. At 5:30, the Dolphins take on the Roosters at Lang Park. Zane Bojack on the call there with Billy Moore. And then at 7:30, myself, Matthew Elliott joining us this Saturday, and Michael Carianis calling Canterbury. Bankstown and the Warriors 3rd against 4th. Some massive games this weekend. Here's the kickoff from Ryan Pappenhausen. Sends it down to Katoni Staggs. Fields a 12 out from his own goal line. Returns it into Meany, Wishart and Katoa 18 out from his own line. We'll get thoughts from Ian Cohen and what he's picked up at half-time shortly. Played to Walters, goes right to Jaden Hunt. And he's going to be taken 25 out from his own line for the Broncos. 20 in from touch on this western side. Played to Walters, goes centre field right. And the tackle made here on Hetherington. 32 out from the Brisbane goal line. In over the top was Liero. Walters goes right, Carrigan. Then away to Hunt. Links up with Reece Walsh. Up over the 40, right foot step past Munster. But now he's going to be collected here by Lasati. And also coming across Bloor, too short of halfway. Now it's Haas on the charge up the middle. You feel like you've got to stand up every time he gets the footy, Payne Haas. 41 out, last tackle for Brisbane. It's off the boot of Ben Hunt, down to the left wing of Xavier Coates. The chase is pretty placid, and he's taking it to Coates 11 out from his own line. Then he straightens into the chase of Staggs, 19 out from the Melbourne goal line. It remains Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2. Ian Cohen has been finding out what's going on. He's got all the dirt from half-time. What's the news, Koza?
Yeah, look, the Melbourne Storm, obviously, it was also being aware that the new halves for the Broncos are very much runners, and they just need to keep their eye on them. Defensive structure, they need to keep that up, and obviously completions as well. For Ezra Mam, it's a left hamstring. For Reynolds, it's a right hamstring. But Madge talked about belief. You know, anything's possible. Let's believe in ourselves.
And any update from the MCG at half-time, Koza?
We're a broad church here, but I haven't been across that. I'm just watching Papa now.
We'll go back to the footy. Grant goes left to Munster. Just kidding, Koza. Munster kicks downfield. They all let it bounce 25 out for the Melbourne line. Then the ball tapped back into the 20-metre line, and Reece Walsh has it. He's going to be caught 24 out from... he made a couple more metres. 26 out from his own line for Brisbane. So 2 minutes gone in this second half, and it remains 12-2 to the Storm. Brisbane with it. Staggs dummy half. Goes right to Cobbo. He's taken by Grant, and also in there was Liero and Kamakamita. 34 out from the Brisbane line. Now they work at left edge to Gimat Shibasaki. Queensland State of Origin 3. What a story. Plays it to Walters. Goes left. Staggs with full acceleration. But he's cut to the deck. 8 metres in Melbourne's half. Played to Walters. He goes right to Carrigan. Angled run into Liero, Lasati, and put to the ground. 29 out from the Melbourne line. Last tackle. Played to Walters. He'll go right to Ben Hunt. Centre field, 30 metres out. Hey-ho, and up she goes. The chase being led by Walsh. The catch from Xavier Coates. He's caught by Staggs 5 metres out from the Melbourne line. Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2. Nearly 3 gone second half. Ryan Hoffman.
If you want to put a competitive bomb up, why are you putting up against Xavier Coates? You've got Grant Anderson on the other side going up against Selwyn Cobbo. I mean, surely that should be the place you'd be targeting.
So now it is Melbourne. They work it short side left, and a tackle here made about 15 metres out from the goal line. Played by Pappenhausen. And a dummy half for the Melbourne Storm. Getting up over the 30-metre line on that occasion was Mini. He plays the ball. Grant. Centre field, right, Liero. He's scored 8 metres short of halfway. Melbourne with it, leading 12-2. Last tackle, Storm. Grant sends it open side right. The kick downfield from Tyron Wishart. Drifting back, Cobbo. He'll take it on the full 14 out from his own goal line. Heads up over the 20. Reece Walsh just pointing straight ahead, Selwyn. And he pretty much does that, but then he gets nailed. Maybe not quite the acceleration as he's put to the ground by Lasati and Munster. Plays the ball to Walsh. Goes to his right, and the tackle made on Marin, a 31 out from the Brisbane line. I do sense, Hoffy, if Brisbane's going to stay in this game, Reece Walsh is going to have a big say in it, as Gajewski's caught 14 short of halfway.
Yeah, Reece Walsh needs to start injecting himself. Get around the ruck, looking, backing up Carrigan, backing up Payne Haas, looking for those offloads.
So now Brisbane 1 metre in Melbourne territory. Ball played to Walters. Flat pass left to Hunt. Plays out the back. Staggs, show and go into the defence. Taken by Liero. And Katoa, 32 out from the Melbourne line. 13 in from touch western side. Last tackle Brisbane. Walters goes for a dart for a dummy half. Kicked it into the body of Tyron Wishart. The ball's going over the western touch line. And it was not played at. It will be a Melbourne play. The ball 20 out from their own line. 4 minutes 30 gone second half. And it remains 12 points to 2 in favour of Melbourne.
Yeah, look, Brisbane are attacking quite well because they're just trying things. They're running hard. They're pushing up. They're not doing outlandish sort of set plays because they don't have the personnel in place. But what they are doing, they're running hard. They're trying to generate that second phase.
Melbourne get to within 13 of halfway. Katoa plays the ball to Grant. Sends it left this time. Played out the back. Liero to Munster. Left foot step. And he's going to be taken. And Ricky was in there along with Hetherington, 4 short of halfway. Played to Harry Grant. Goes from dummy half, a long ball. He sends to the right, away to Meany. He turns it into Grant Anderson. Anderson got straight through Staggs, straight through Jaden Hunt, and now he's nailed by Haas. Lifted up and dumped to the ground, 38 out from the Brisbane goal line. He'll play it with 2 tackles left for the Storm. Comes left to Wishart. Dummies inside, goes outside to Munster. He puts in a toe-poking kick. Getting back there, Mariner in goal. He's going to have to field it, and he's taken over the dead ball line. It's going to be a goal line dropout. Ended up being a beautifully weighted kick, and a great chase coming as well from Xavier Coates. Goal line dropout, Brisbane, 12-2 in favour of the Storm.
Yeah, really disciplined there, Cameron Munster, just dropping it into the in goal and knowing that Xavier Coates, he will chase any ball that is kicked. He gets down there, puts on a great tackle. Big chance here for Melbourne. Broncos need to defend well.
Here's a short line dropout from Ben Hunt. Plenty of height underneath it. Through comes Haas. Ball tap back for Brisbane. Oh, Meany ripped it out of the hands of Reece Walsh. And Meany's over to score. Try to Melbourne. Short line dropout. It looked like Walsh was going to come down with it, but Meany said no. Ripped it out of his hands like our boss Tim Beryl ripped a martini off the bar. Melbourne 16, Brisbane 2. Try to Meany. 6 minutes 30 gone, second half.
They got tapped back. He was a bit casual there, Reece Walsh. I don't think he saw Nick Meany come, because Nick Meany just ran straight past him and took it out of his hands like a candy from a baby and puts the ball down over the line. That was too easy for Melbourne.
16-2, touchline in, Cohen.
Yeah, he just didn't secure it, Walsh. He didn't go hard enough at it. Meany was coming through with a real head of steam. Walsh kind of reached in a little bit, but just didn't get the body in behind it, which allowed Meany a genuine channel straight through to be able to put the ball down. And ominous signs, you would suggest, this early into the second half for the Broncos.
That lead looks big now, doesn't it? 16-2, potentially soon to be 18-2. Meany's lining up the kick, 16 out, 20 in from the western touchline. Melbourne at home with the lead. Very hard to run down anyway, but especially when you realise there's no Reynolds and no man.
Well, just seeing a try like that just come from a bit more desperation from an opposition player, which is what that was. And the Broncos need to be more desperate than Melbourne. And that effort from Walsh certainly wasn't saying it, but Melbourne are starting to look a bit confident now.
Oh, hang on. We're going to the bunker. That's normally not good. Oh, no. What are we waiting for here? Meany's all set to go. Grant Atkins says, hold on. Is it really 16-2? Sending it up a review. That is normally very bad news for the attacking team.
I've seen the replay about 3 times. I can't.
At this point here, both players get a hand to the ball. Reece Walsh knocks it on into Nick Meany first. Nick's required to maintain possession, which he does at this point. We're now looking at both hands. At this point, his left hand is clearly off. And now his right hand is also off with the ball in contact with Reece, which is a knock on. We have a decision.
No try. But it is a Melbourne scrum feed. It remains 12-2 to the Storm. But Melbourne will have the scrum feed 15 out from the Brisbane line. I think once all year, Hoffy, we've seen that situation. Try awarded, and they end up going to the bunker, and it's taken off all but one time that I can remember anyway.
It's normally after a try, no news is good news.
Yes.
But look, that's why they're going to bunker in there. They've made the right call. They saw the angles before we did, so right decision made.
So it is the scrum feed here for Melbourne. Still a massive set coming up right now. 12 points to 2. And I made that reference about, our boss Tim Beryl kicking the martini off the bar. That clearly wasn't the case, because he would not have knocked that on. Here's the scrum to be fed. If you're going to get in trouble, you may as well double down, right? Comes to the left to Munster, and Munster gets up to go again, but he's forced back. There's a frantic nature to Munster's game that I find confusing at the moment, Hoffy. Ball played to Grant, goes right now, up the middle, Carmen Kamitha, into 4 Broncos defenders, put down 7 metres out from the line. Melbourne leading 12-2, Brisbane trying to hold on desperately, comes right to Elias Katoa, close but thwarted. He's pushed back half a metre out from the goal line. He'll play the ball to Grant. He spins it deep left away to Wishart. Big dummy. Comes back to the right. Runs around in circles as Tyron. And he's caught 10 metres out for the Brisbane goal line. Play the ball now to Grant. 2 tackles left Melbourne. Dance to his left. Passes away to Munster. Oh, then got a ball that's knocked on by Bloor. Picked up by Haas. He turns it back on the inside to Jordan Ricky. He got past Grant. Brisbane turned defence into attack. 20 out from their own line. He loses it, but it'll go back for the first knock on from the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, it was a mongrel of a pass from Cameron Munster. Just got it in behind Bloor. And when you're catching a ball at the line, you really need it on your chest. They got away with one there, Brisbane. This is where they need to be patting each other on the back, getting a bit of enthusiasm. There's still only 10 points in it.
So it remains 12-2. Scrum to be packed 10 out from the Brisbane line, and we still have 32 and a half minutes to go. Touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, it's been an amazing restart, hasn't it? I mean, we've had everything going on at the moment, but Melbourne Storm, that damn wall is going to be hard for the Broncos to keep pushing back on all the time.
Well, they keep bending, but not really breaking yet, Brisbane, and Shebasaki. They're a try away, aren't they, from it really being game on. Shebasaki caught there by Carmen Kamitha outside his 20, played to Walters, goes right to Carrigan. He's nailed to the ground. Lasati was in there with Carmen Kamitha and Grant. 29 out from the Brisbane line. Played to Walters. He goes left to Payne Haas. Another great run. Left Lasati in his wake. 8 short of halfway though. Tackled by Wishart. Plays the ball to Billy Walters. Goes right to Ben Hunt. Then away to Walsh. Fires the ball away to Gajewski. And he's caught 3 metres in Melbourne's half by Munster. Now Walsh on the last. Short side right to Hunt. Puts up a floating kick down for Pappenhausen. He fields it. Nearly knocked him to the deck. 5 out from his own goal line. It's towards the 10-metre line. A lot of stepping there from Ryan Pappenhausen, and now tackled 12 metres out from his own goal line. So he'll play it for Melbourne to Munster. He sends it right to Xavier Coates, who's had a big game. And Xavier scored 22 out from his own line. To Reza. Hi, Andrew. Sitting in the Western Grandstand, have just enjoyed your cake. We couldn't get it to you. Oh, to Reza. Hoffy, can you speak to security around here? I understand security, and they do a great job in Melbourne. But when there's cake, gentlemen, ladies, it's a good cake. Reza's an amazing human being, an amazing chef. Whoa. Let her in. Here's a drop ball from Pappenhausen. Dived on by Brisbane, 30 metres out from the Melbourne line. Dummy half. Walters plays it to Haas. Goes left away now to Kobe Hetherington with a left foot step. Is that the opportunity Brisbane's been sweating on? 9 minutes 20 into the second half. 12-2 to the Storm. Comes right to Carrigan, then away to Hunt. He turns it into Ricky, and Jordan Ricky's put to the ground by Lasati, and Grant 15 metres out from the line. Played to Walters. Short side right to Ben Hunt, then got the ball away to Gajewski. Playing it right centre. Forced to the ground, and he loses the ball. 11 out from the Melbourne line, and the crowd roars. So Melbourne get away with it. Poor handling from Gajewski. Melbourne will get a scrum feed. 11 out from their own line. It is Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2, half an hour to go.
I'll tell you one player I've been impressed with the Melbourne Storm these last few weeks has been Joe Chan. He's traditionally a back rower, but he's filled in for the centres quite a lot for the Storm, especially with Jack Howarth being out for an extended period. His defence has been tremendous. Every single centre he's come up against, he was up against Katoni Staggs earlier in this game. He didn't give Katoni Staggs anything. His defence on the edge has really been tremendous, and what a strength for the Melbourne Storm to have someone like him to fill in the centres.
So Melbourne scrum feet deep in their own territory. Out it comes from Melbourne. They send it right to Anderson, and he's going to be taken 15 out from his own goal line. Still a game, isn't it? 12-2 to Melbourne. You sense that was a big opportunity for Brisbane that they let slip. Playing away, third term AFL. Hawthorn 63, Collingwood 25. Grant, a long ball goes left this time, and the tackle made, and 25 out from the Melbourne line. The arrow plays it to Grant, goes right to Wishart, jinks at the defence, but he's going to be shoved back to his own 30-metre line on play 4. In fact, beyond it, back into his own 30. Played to Grant. Comes back centre field right. Liero's going to be caught 14 metres short of halfway. He'll play the footy now. And Melbourne works it right on the last. The kick downfield And that's from
Jonah Pezzett.
It is Jonah Pezzett who's on the field with his left hammy very tightly strapped. It comes down to Selwyn Cobbo. He returns it into a three-man tackle, 12 short of halfway. Still Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2, 28 and a half to go.
Yeah, I was interested to see what was going to happen with Jonah Pezzett, whether they were going to bring him on early, and they brought him on for Sean Bloor, and Lasardi has gone to the left edge. So Jonah Pezzett playing at 5'8" on the right-hand side of the field.
Kobe Hetherington now up the middle for Brisbane, taken 2 metres in Melbourne territory, played to Walters, goes left to Staggs. The pass I think was meant for one play, went right through his hand and scooped up by Gimat Shibasaki. And he loses the ball in the tackle, 38 out from the line. I think that ball was initially meant for Jaden Hunt. But this is something Brisbane can't do. In a compromised situation with Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam, both gone with hamstrings injury after 20 minutes, they can't just be handing easy ball to Melbourne.
No, they have to be getting to their kick, especially if they're starting sets inside the Melbourne Storm and inside the Melbourne Storm 50. They've really got to be getting to their kick, and that's 2 in a row for the Broncos.
So now the scrum to be fed by Melbourne, about 10 metres short of halfway. Evening, Andrew and the team. Great call as usual, listening in the truck, coming through loud and clear like normal for an exciting game. Tony from Bingara. Apparently he suffered a hamstring injury. I won't tell you how or why. Storm Broncos sound in the balance. Listening on the app by the earbuds. Balance between ABC team and the ground noise about 70-30. Perfect. Says Barrington of Blackheath. Has Melbourne just lost the footing? Putting the ball down on this occasion is the Melbourne Storm, and Brisbane will get a scrum feed. Joey Chan has put it down, and Brisbane will have a scrum feed 8 metres in Melbourne's territory.
So he played the ball backwards, but it went through Harry Grant's legs.
That'll do for the whole way around. Harry Grant, a wry smile.
Simple errors from both teams.
Yes. Has it got very dewy or something all of a sudden, Kozer, as Brisbane wins the scrum?
No, not particularly. Obviously, Reece Walsh now trying to get himself into the game as well. But no, conditions are still good.
And now Brisbane from the scrum win. Walsh caught 32 out for the Melbourne line. Plays the ball, and they work it right from Katoni Staggs. He sent the pass on. 28 metres out from the goal line. It's played now by Shibasaki. Comes to Carrigan, then back on the inside. And Brisbane only 20 metres out from the line with Ben Tolte on the field. Set restart here for the Broncos as well. They work it right. Hunter Walsh got the pass on to support. And the tackle made on Ricky 2 metres out from the goal line. Brisbane a chance. Goes to the left to Hunt. Turns it back on the inside. And Ben Hunt got the pass away. Tackle made. 2 out for the goal line on Hetherington. He'll play the ball to Billy Walters. Looks both ways. Sends it deep left. And it goes through hands. Carrigan away. Hunt got away from Kamikamitha. Back to the right it goes. And a bustling run here by Tolte before he's knocked to the deck by Munster. 12 out from the goal line. Walters dummy half for Brisbane. Goes right to Carrigan. A right foot step. Accelerates. Nailed 8 metres out by Munster. Played in front of the northern goalpost. Walters, short ball left to Tolte. Ben Tolte standing in the tackle, and he'll be asked to play it 2 metres away. Last tackle, Brisbane. Walters goes right to Carrigan, then away to Hunt. He links up with Walsh, puts it on the toe, down to the wing. Getting back there is Xavier Coates, and he's wrapped up in goal. Great chase coming from Gajewski, and it's a goal line dropout. Melbourne, Brisbane trailing 12 points to 2, and we've had 15 minutes of the second half.
Yeah, very mature finish to the set there by Reece Walsh. They needed to be getting on their kick, starting a set and a 6 again inside the Melbourne inside the Melbourne Storm half. This time they get another chance with the dropout. The Broncos need to come away with some points.
So the line dropout to come here from Pappenhausen. It's short towards that far side of the field. Will barely go the 10. It bounces inside the 10. And Melbourne's played at it before acceptances. So it's a penalty to Brisbane. Penalties are 3-2, and Melbourne does not have a challenge left.
I guess about half a metre it landed inside the 10.
As will have been 25 metres.
Exactly. It doesn't matter if it's a half a metre or half a centimetre.
Tap taken. Tolte hits it up. He's a willing youngster. Ben Tolte caught 2 out from the goal line. Played to Billy Walters. Brisbane attack. Terrible pass. Bounces though for Reece Walsh. 15 out. He sends it left to Katoni Staggs. Staggs only knows one way and accelerates into Katoa and Pezzett. 15 out for the Melbourne goal line. Dummy half Walters. Comes short side left away to Reece Walsh. Then got a short pass. It's forward. fair dinkum, the mistakes this bloke makes is infuriating, Reece Walsh. Such a prodigious talent and makes mistake after mistake after mistake. And that time was a pass to Gemat Shibasaki. It'll be a scrum feed for Melbourne, 10 out from their own line, 23 and a half to go, 12-2 in favour of the Storm. Down to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
Yeah, that's a couple for Walsh there, and really without pressure too. He's just got to get better at the timing or the dispatch, not sure, but with so much talent obviously there, you would have thought that he'd be able to get that right. This is a genuine chance here. The Broncos are kind of blowing up here at the moment.
I just had a look at that replay of the Pappenhausen line dropout. I don't think it was as big as half a metre.
No.
It was narrower. So now Melbourne has the footy back, 12 out from their own line. Can they complete a set? Joey Chan caught. He plays the ball Norrie's corner to Munster. He works it away open side right. And the tackle made here on Coates. Saw him out the front, Xavier Coates, as I was making my way into the ground, Hoffy, and a youngster, she might have been 6 or 7. Obviously, it encountered Xavier before. You couldn't have had a more engaging, happy to see her, great response from an elite athlete like Xavier Coates. It was really heartwarming.
He's a wonderful human, Xavier Coates.
Melbourne on their own 30 now with a 12 points to 2 lead. Munster centre field, goes left to right to Jonah Pezzett, takes them on, taken ball and all by Tulsi. 30 out from his own line, last tackle Melbourne, it comes to Munster, puts in the left foot kick, and it goes down to the right wing, fielded by Dean Marin at 28 out from his own line, across field, then straightens into Pezzett, Katoa and one other defender. Getting up from the deck is Utoikamanu, 12 short of halfway, played to Walsh, goes left to Selwyn Cobbo as Corey Jensen returns to the field now for Brisbane. 5 short of halfway, dummy half Walsh, goes right to Jensen. He scored 3 metres in Melbourne territory. Just over a quarter of the game to go, and it's Melbourne 12-2. It's been a real dogfight. Been exciting, been drama-packed. 40 metres out, play to Walters. Goes right to Walsh, then drifts a beautiful pass away to Jaden Hunt at right centre. He's knocked to the ground, 11 metres out from the goal line. It was that Kajewski over there. In fact, it was Jordan Ricky. They're all playing out of position. On the last, stab kick by Reece Walsh is not a good one. And the Melbourne Storm come away with it. Pappenhausen's got a beat one, caught 11 out from his own line. 18 minutes 30 gone second half. Melbourne 12, Brisbane 2. And now Mini slips over and falls, gets up to go again, and finally put to the deck 19 out from his own line for the Storm.
This is a big opportunity here for Jonah Pezzett. He came on the field with about 28 minutes to go, and if he can really take control and really finish off this Melbourne Storm game to be able to get them a win with some good control and some good kicking game, he could find himself in the 7 jersey starting next week.
Grant Anderson, good run, gets him to within 10 of halfway, 20 in from the eastern touchline. Plays it, Grant falls over.
It has to be.
And it is a penalty to Mel. I thought he was milking that, Harry Grant. But it is a penalty going to the Melbourne Storm. Harry Grant just fell over the markers that were laying in there, and that's what Hoffy was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and look, every team, he's asking for a play the ball, so it's not a penalty. Every team is doing it. The defenders are just lying in the middle of the ruck, making it hard for the dummy half to get to the football.
So now Melbourne from the restart have it 2 metres short of halfway. Utoikamanu. Ball's going to be played, then comes to the left. Pezzett away to Munster, links up with Pappenhausen. Pappenhausen up over the 40, dragged to the ground 35 metres out from the goal line by Gajewski. He plays it and they work it to the right. Munster away, centre field the arrow, but that's into the teeth of the defence. Jensen and Carrigan, and down he goes, 33 out from the line. Also in there was Jaden Hunt, played to Grant, takes off, goes to the right with a cut-out ball. Katoa away to Mini, right foot step, left foot step past Staggs, links up now with Anderson. Anderson steps into Staggs and flung to the ground, 13 out, 9 in from touch western side. Melbourne on the attack with his 12-2 lead. They go left to Pezzett, slows it down, then keeps it going that way. Wishart to Munster, cut out pass to Pappenhausen, short ball then onto support, but the tackle's made beautifully. About 9 metres out from the goal line, as Pappenhausen got the ball away to Chan. On the last, Munster puts in a little dink kick down to the left wing. Oh, getting there first and losing the ball forward was Xavier Coates, but he's taken in the air. It's been deemed a penalty to Melbourne. Half a metre out from the goal line.
Well, I think that might be worth a challenge for the Broncos. I don't think they are, but they were both competing for the ball. They call them, I don't know what they're calling it. They're calling obstruction. according to the, what do they call it? The escort.
The escort. So Penley, Melbourne, a metre out. 20 minutes gone. 20 minutes left, second half. Thursday night rugby league on ABC Sport, and it is 12-2 in favour of Melbourne. And it's been that way since Pappenhausen's 38th minute try. Melbourne get another shot though. Liero goes up the middle, taking 12 out. If you've just joined us, Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mam left the field with hamstring injuries from the same play in the 20th minute not to return. As now Melbourne's Chan, he scored 4 metres out from the Brisbane line in that southeast corner. Played to Grant, goes right to Munster. Munster stepped away from one, spinning, standing, cut off low. 5 metres out. Now it's played to Grant. Short side left to Xavier Coates. He flies through the air in the corner and he scores a typical Xavier Coates try. Gets the ball down despite the presence of Dean Mariner. Try to Coates. Melbourne 16, Brisbane 2 with a kick to come. 18 minutes to go.
Jeez, he's good, Harry Grant. They had all the players set up on the right side for a play, but he identified the quick play ball from Cameron Munster. Went straight away. Xavier Coates pushing up, throws an absolute gem of a pass, and Xavier Coates does what he always does, and that's put the ball down over the line.
Let's go to the touchline, Ian Cohen.
He is just phenomenal, isn't he, Xavier Coates? He's a pleasure to watch, and so too is Harry Grant as well. So that certainly got Storm fans up and off their plastic. As I said, plenty of support though here for the Broncos tonight, but that might now be maybe a bridge too far. The Broncos had 10 or 12 minutes where they had opportunity. They just couldn't count on it, whereas Xavier Coates goes in.
15 tries now in the year for Xavier Coates. And Mini will line up this shot 23 metres out, just in from the eastern touchline. Around the grounds AFL, Hawthorn flogging Collingwood 76-26 in the third quarter. That's 7th leading second or third Collingwood. Top 4 anyway.
It's a hiding, whatever it is.
Isn't it? What? So here's Meany, so far 2 from 2. One beautiful kick, one a bit dusty. He's right in front of that eastern
stand. It doesn't matter if it goes in by 5 centimetres off.
That's true. Good call. Here's Meany. I want to hear more about biomechanics from you.
Righto.
Meany, arms outstretched, moves in, strikes it, heading towards the post. Oh, it's away across the face, no goal. He's 2 out of 3. Melbourne 16, Brisbane 2, 16 minutes and 42 seconds left. Hope you're enjoying the action on ABC Sport with Ryan Hoffman, Ian Cohen, and I'm Andrew Moore. And your texts are welcome, 0467 920 222. Boys, Josh on the road, listening on the app, in the truck, which has a pretty decent stereo, and the effects feed commentary sounds good to me. Worried my Broncos season could be close to done if Reno and Ezra go down for a while. Really not ideal. Effort in the first half was tops though. Great call, lads. 0467 920 222.
Their effort is still great. They're just lacking that bit of polish at the minute, the Broncos.
And Mike, who's in a truck northbound on the Hume, says he's agreeing with Raider Sam. Finding it difficult to hear the commentary. Very difficult. I think you're doing a great job, Hollywood. Here's the kick-off taken by Katoa, 32 out. It's very hard to get it perfect for everybody, like anything in life, I suppose, as Grant goes left to Anderson. And he's pushed back, 32 out from his own line. Cam from Carlo says, hi, Maury. When I line the telly up with your commentary, I like to have ABC half a second in front so it looks like you're slightly prophetic. Here's a penalty going against Brisbane inside the 10. Is there a chance here the rails fall off?
There's a big chance. There's a big chance. I think it was quite demoralising, that last try, after having so many attacking sets on the Storm end. The floodgates could very well open here.
Melbourne finds touch, 5 metres in Brisbane territory. Meany the tap goes left to Eliezer Katoa, and he's tackled 33 metres out from the Brisbane goal line. 20 in from touch on the western side by Jaden Hunt and Payne Haas. Played to Grant, goes left Pezza. Turns it back on the inside to Alec McDonald, and he's wrapped up. 29 out from the Brisbane line. Set restart as well here to the Melbourne Storm. Comes left to Munster. Turns it on the inside. Lasardi scored 20 metres away. Remembering Melbourne's won 16 of the last 17 games against Brisbane, who have not won here at AAMI Park since 2016. Peasant goes right Katoa. What a beautiful ball to Anderson. Down the right wing, steps in field, but he's going to be put to the ground. Staggs was one of 3 defenders there, including Walsh. 5 out from the line. And about a metre in from touch, southwest corner. Now Munster jigs straight into the defence. 10 metres out. He'll play the ball with still 3 tackles up the Storm's sleeve. And a Melbourne 16-2 lead with quarter of an hour to go. Long ball left, Liero, Pappenhausen. He plays out the back to a juggling player out wide there. And now 5 metres out it's played. And it's Pappenhausen from dummy half. Dummies goes himself after the quick play the ball from Jan. And it's another set restart for the Melbourne Storm inside the 10. And Pappenhausen, he's a millimetre away. Plays the ball. There's a long pass coming right to Grant. Long cut-out ball right to Munster. He turns it into McDonald. Nailed by Jayden Hunt and Carrigan. 10 out from the Brisbane line. Plays the ball to Grant. Goes right to Pezzett. Back on the inside, Katoa. And Elias Katoa is on his back. 4 metres out from the Brisbane line. He'll play 10 in from touch in the southwest corner. Plays it to Grant. Goes left to Pezzett, then away through hands. Liero away to Munster, who just wasn't looking. And knocked the footy on, and Brisbane will get a scrum feed. 14 out for their own line, 14 minutes to go. And it's Melbourne 16, Brisbane 2.
Yeah, bad pass by Trent Liero. He just passed it behind Cameron Munster, who tried to grab it with one hand. Good defence, the Broncos, though. They scrambled hard. They were willing to give up a 6 against set just to keep them out of the try line, and they come away with it. Look, 13 minutes to go. They're looking very, very tired, but who knows what can happen if they could jack a try.
So now the scrum to be fed. Ben in Townsville says, happy rugby league, gentlemen. I'm watching the game with your commentary. Sync to the game. Good on you, Ben. I was trying to explain that to my dad last night at dinner. I'm not sure it works. Sorry, Dad. Comes to the right. And the tackle made 30 metres out from the Brisbane line on Mariner. Good tackle there from McDonald. Ball played. They work it right from Billy Walters. He got the pass away to within 12 metres of halfway. Now it's played by Jensen, comes right, Haas away to Hunt, runs into Munster, popped one out the back to Walsh, quick hands it away to his right to Katoni Staggs with a right foot step. He's over halfway, or is that Ricky out there? It's Jordan Ricky. In the same fluorescent boots as Katoni Staggs, and taking over at right centre since all the injuries. Here's Haas with a hit and spin back to Reece Walsh, 42 out. He's nailed. Right on that mark in centre field. Last tackle Brisbane. Walters dummy half, goes left to Hunt. High kick from 41 metres out. Down to the right wing of Anderson, coming through Cobbo. The ball tapped back for Brisbane. Great hands, Katoni Staggs, still the last. He's 20 out. Sends a pass left to Payne Haas, surrounded by McDonald. Throws one out the back. It bounces down from Melbourne. And they've got it through Elias Katoa. 25 out from the Melbourne line. Melbourne 16, Brisbane 2. 12 and a half left down to the touchline. Ian Cohen.
Crowd in the house tonight, 21,324 people.
I don't think they sold those 500 tickets.
Coffee, I hate to tell you this. Koza's mail might have been better than yours. Here's Grant Anderson. He's wrapped up 10 metres short of halfway. But you'll let that go quickly, won't you?
Yeah, of course.
Dummy half Grant. He'll send it away left to King. Do you feel a bit justified there now, Koza?
I say that without prejudice. I'm just giving you the facts.
But with a big beaming smile. A metre in Brisbane territory. King plays it to Grant. He sends it left. Good hands by Munster to Pappenhausen. Then away to Chandler Coates. He puts in a little stab kick. Walsh coming across. Has this and then tried to duck underneath Xavier Coates, who still got him high. So it is a penalty going to Brisbane. Penalties are 5-4 to the Melbourne Storm. And this one, 12 out, 5 in from touch eastern side. And that's one of those where you probably get a penalty, but it's entirely accidental with the Bronco on the way down.
Yeah. Xavier Coates' arms are 3 metres long, so it's hard to get him out of the way.
I don't even know that was high, to be honest, in any way, shape or form. He kind of fell over him.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be high these days, does it?
Don't be one of those people,
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Let's
Walters
go footy.
goes open side left. Tolte tackled 13 short of halfway. 16-2 in favour of Melbourne. 11 minutes to play. Ben Hunt got it away left to Shibasaki. Knocked to the ground by Katoa and Pezzett. 2 metres in Melbourne's territory. 20 in from the western touchline. Play to Walters. Goes right to Carrigan. Turns it into Haas. Payne Haas beats one. Then out the back to Walters to Reece Walsh. Reece Walsh runs around in circles. Ever decreasing. Nailed by Chan. 40 out from the Melbourne line. Now Walters. He goes left to Jensen. And Corey Jensen's tackled. 35 out from the Melbourne goal line. Last play Broncos. Desperate for points. Walters goes right. Hunt they run. Away there with a runaround ball. Back to Ben Hunt. And it's a penalty for Race Elba. A raised elbow, and that Melbourne Storm player, Munster, is grabbing at his throat. So it's a penalty to Melbourne. Penalty's now 6-4 to the Storm. Is it his throat or chin?
I think he's on his throat. He had his arm up. He didn't forcefully throw it into Munster's throat. He just sort of held the arm out there, and it did get him high.
Yeah, put the forearm into the Adams Apple region.
Yeah.
Munster's all right though. Penalty Melbourne, 31 out from the Storm line, 10 left. We're with you until 10 o'clock tonight here on ABC Sport. Your texts remain welcome, 0467 920 222. And after the game, Coes will be out in the field getting all the reaction. And off his ABC Player of the Year points, we'll look at the rest of round 23 as well, and round 6 of the NRLW. Now it's Melbourne going left to right to Eliesa Katoa, who's been a little quiet tonight for him. He's caught 3 short of halfway by Staggs. Plays it to Grant, goes left to Utugamanu. Stefano, good run up the middle. Cast away from Carrigan. Now put to the ground by Jensen and Haas. 39 out from the line. Grant goes left to Pezzett. Switcheroo back to the right to Munster. And Cam Munster is cutting a bit of post-contact metres, maybe 4 or 5. And he'll play at 24 out from the Brisbane line. Grant goes left to Pezzett. Then away to Pappenhausen. Runs at the line, meant to offload to Chan. Instead of straight over the eastern touchline. So this second half has not been anywhere near the quality of the first for sure, and it's going to be a changeover to Brisbane. 17 out from their own line, but they trail 16-2 with 9 minutes left.
Yeah, it certainly hasn't been a pretty half by both teams. Players running into the wrong spot, players, passes going behind players. So there's a lot of polish that needs to be happen to both teams.
Melbourne's going to win again without looking particularly outstanding.
But they're the wins that come finals time.
I know, mate. They're the wins they get. I wasn't saying that as a criticism.
No.
I was going the other way. Here's Walsh attempting a 40-20. Pappenhausen read it well, gets back. He doesn't have the angle anyway. Walsh certainly had the distance. Walsh watches Pappenhausen pick it up in his in-goal area. And Walsh, while leading the chase, Pappenhausen stepped away from him, and now he's collared 12 metres out from his own goal line, Pappenhausen. He plays the ball to Pezzett. Sends it away open side left. Tackle made here on Anderson. 20 out from the Melbourne line. 8 minutes to go. Melbourne 16, Brisbane 2. So just me, Hoffy, there's been kind of an air of predictability about this second half.
Yeah, looks like both teams looks like the Melbourne Storm are just sort of holding on. They're just doing what it takes to win, and Brisbane are trying everything, but the scramble in the Melbourne Storm defence is just too good.
Here's Lasati. He's tackled 8 short of halfway. Adavalu Lasati. Last tackle Melbourne. Kick downfield from Jonah Pezzett. A midfield roost. Reece Walsh comes in, takes it, gets very low to the ground because Munster was hot on his heels. And he takes the catch and the tackle. 27 out from his own line. Played to Hunt. He sends the ball right to Mariner, who's going to be caught 17 short of halfway. 16-2 Melbourne. And they're going to join Canberra on level points, making it tougher for Canterbury for a top 2 berth. This makes it tougher for Brisbane in terms of top 4. Comes to the left to Ben Tulty. And it's even tougher, of course, if Reynolds and Mam are gone for the year. Tulty on halfway. Tackled by McDonald. Plays the ball to Walters. He goes left to Ben Hunt. Then a cut-out ball, Shibasaki. Quickly away to Cobbo. Selwyn Cobbo takes on Pezzett. Beat him, but now nailed in the tackle. Very close to the western touchline by Mini. 29 out. Last play, Brisbane. Walters steps off the right foot. Goes back the other way to Ben Hunt, who fends away from Utugamanu. Got away from Munster. And then just throws a dipsy-doodle up in the air that went forward.
Only by about 3 metres.
That was just a shot of panic. Threw it over his head. It was put on the toe by Gajewski, but it had all gone very haywire.
It was just passing along the line to try and get, no, you do something, no, you do something. It's where they're at, the Broncos. They've lost all their direction. Obviously, that's going to happen when you lose both your halves.
Melbourne on their own 30. Yeah, maybe a bit of fatigue setting in. First half was a cracking game of footy. Well, it was 2-0 Brisbane when Reynolds and Mam were injured. Now Melbourne 13 short of halfway. 6 minutes to go. They go right Pezzett away to Eliesa Katoa, then to Meany, but he's nailed. Very good defence coming. 14 short of halfway by Cobbo. It's been impressive tonight, despite a bit of a limp earlier with a apparent leg injury. And now here's a steal from Brisbane.
Can't change it after the head call.
but it was already called Hills. So Billy Walters gets penalised. Penalties now 7-4 to Melbourne. Let's check in with Cozy downstairs, Ian Cohen.
Well, you remember the turbocharged start we had to this game. It was unbelievable, and I think I nominated at that stage that petrol tickets would be in rare supply at this sort of time, and they're both just holding on, and at the moment Brisbane are on the ropes. They don't want to concede another one. They've really been brave.
They sure have. Munster turns it into King, and Josh King is pushed sideways, tackled 38 out, and their attitude, Michael Maguire's, will be whatever the injury status is, and let's hope it's not too serious for Mam and Reynolds, but it didn't look good, that no one else is going to care about our injury worries. We've just got to get on with it.
Exactly. And look, he'll get the team back in. They'll train. They'll get players in that position. He just wants them to compete.
Here's Wishart, the left centre. He's dragged down. No, got a flick pass back to Pappenhausen. He steps away from one, dragged to the ground just 2 metres out from the goal line. And it was brilliant last-ditch defence coming from Gajewski. Now long ball comes right for Melbourne. Through hands, Grant away to Munster. Up the middle, taken by Tolte. 7 out in front of the post. Grant dummy half. Pirouettes. And he's like he's on a roundabout. He's going to be caught now 2 metres out. Look, it's Big Ben. He'll play 2 out from the goal line. Dummy half is Munster. He goes with a long ball left to Pappenhausen. Show and goal. Ricky just held on by the jersey. 6 metres out. I thought he was away, Pappenhausen. Last tackle, Melbourne. Grant goes right. Munster kicks for Coates. Through comes Xavier. Xavier the catch. Reaches out to try and score the try. Does he get it down, Xavier Coates? Yes, says referee Grant Atkins. He slammed it down at the second attempt. Melbourne 20, Brisbane 2. Xavier Coates has a double, both in the second half. 20 points to 2 in favour of Melbourne with 4 minutes to go.
To be honest, the Melbourne Storm could just take 5 hit-ups in the middle and do a crossfield kick to Xavier Coates. I mean, they're going to come up with tries more than half the time, I reckon. Like, he is just unbelievable. He actually did a great job because he hit the ground but managed to keep the arm holding the ball off the ground and then reach forward. I mean, that's great work, Xavier.
At speed and, coming from a long way up.
But just knowing where you are on the field, his body, his field awareness is unbelievable.
16 tries in 16 games. I think he might only be one behind the NRL lead. Let's go downstairs. Ian Cohen.
He was head and shoulders. He was sitting on the Brisbane Broncos player, and so from waist up it was all Xavier Coates. And Hoffy, you'll know this, he trains to contort his body like that. It's no freak, it's no miracle. He actually trains and trains and trains to make this sort of thing happen. So all kudos to him because he works very, very hard. He's got natural ability, natural size, but he works hard on his game.
He certainly does, and he practices the most basic skill, just 1-2 steps and leaping, and then he just goes on the kicks. Oh, here we go. Dong. Maybe he didn't hold the ball up.
It looks like a double movement.
Prior to the tackle, before the promotion.
I thought he held the ball up, but it might have hit the ground.
I did too, I must say, in the first shot we saw.
Cleared. Melbourne kick chase. At this point here, you can see there's a mid-air tackle on Xavier Coates.
Oh, so they'll get a penalty.
He actually gets to the line, but
his finger.
The ball is now in contact with the ground.
No, is the ball in contact or his fingers?
Ball as well.
Oh, yeah, I see.
He extends it now, which is a double movement. In our opinion, the fact that he gets to the line, it would be a penalty try. We have a decision.
Wow! Well, it kind of makes sense. So if he was going to get
tackled,
correct. So Xavier Coates still gets credit for the try. We don't need to take anything back or rub anything out. I'll just add pen try next to his name. It is 20 points to 2 with a kick to come. So this will be
no one knows what's going on. All the players on the field are looking at each other, thinking, what's going on here?
So Grant Atkins now points to the spot right between the sticks. For a penalty try, it's not where it was scored. The conversion is automatically from in front. Melbourne 20, Brisbane 2, 3 minutes 47 to go.
Man, he's a happy man. He doesn't need to kick it from the sideline.
No, he's got a sitter here.
And he keeps his job next week.
2 out of 3. Well, mate, unless you're blocking it now.
Oh, no, put the
if this slams off the crossbar back into his melon.
Surely not.
Yeah, he was blatantly tackled in the air, Xavier Coates, before he got the footy. I find it hard to argue with any of that decision.
No, they've got it right. The bunker on both of the tries that they've adjudicated.
Here's Mini in front with the right boot. He doesn't smash it into any post. He kicks it. He's 3 out of 4. Melbourne 22, Brisbane 2. 3 and a bit minutes to go. A shout out on the SMS to Brant at Port Douglas, Sandra and crew. Happy as ever. Even though I'd like to see the Broncos win. Listening to the footy on the wireless while tinkering with my beloved Valiant R Series 1962. I'm getting ready for a first car show this Sunday at the Cairns Showgrounds. Nice to be hearing you guys on the Manch Radio. From Brant. Well, Brant, you're living the dream there, Brant. Here's the restart coming now for Brisbane. Into the dying stages of this game. Dolphins specials next week. Broncos gone. Will struggle to make the 8. What a crying shame that would be, says Peter. As Brisbane come away with a short kick-off with Selwyn Cobbo. He straightens to be tackled. 21 metres out from the Melbourne line. 22 points to 2 to Melbourne, who continue their dominance over Brisbane. Broncos go left to Ben Tulty. He's wrapped up 12 out from the goal line. Now dummy half Walters. Comes right to Payne Haas. And even the big man is held up 8 out from the goal line. Walters goes to the right. There's another Bronco. Is it Cobbo again in back play? Ben Hunt. Dummies then got the pass away to his right. Dean Mariner. He scoots past Tyron Wishart to score. Was a Grant out there. It's Harry Grant. Tried at Dean Mariner for Brisbane. They do get consolation. There is a Bronco being assisted from the field on this nightmare of nights for Brisbane. It's 22-6 to Melbourne. But the more important story in Cohen is what's happening off the field.
Yeah, just having a look at Selwyn Cobbo again. He went down as he was tackled. He clutched at the back of his left leg, and he's been carried off the ground. And I would suggest he's going to go straight down into the sheds. But a nightmare night for the Brisbane Broncos.
No, I'm just watching it actually on the replay. He got crunched by Tyron Wishart, and Tyron Wishart's knee drove straight into his quad. So I reckon that's a cork from hell.
Well, that, mind you.
Oh, here we go. We'll go back to the video ref.
So are they looking at the grounding or the touchline?
Left hand here of Dean Mariner.
Oh, it's out. That's a great tackle.
Now prior to a grounding. We have a decision.
Great tackle, Tyron Wishart.
That's all right. There's no time on.
I think it was Harry Grant out there.
No, it was Tyron Wishart's been moved to the centres.
They went one more frame. We got made a bird of that. But when I looked up after calling Wishart, I thought I saw Harry Grant's number 9 there. But anyway, another disallowed try. It remains 22 points to 2. If I had liquid paper, my sheet here would just be one big white blob. Such a near thing. So, Melbourne has the restart, and it's Utuagamanu who tackled 23 out from his own line. 2 minutes 20 left. Come on, Stefano. Play it properly. Round the grounds AFL, final term about to begin with Hawthorn crushing Collingwood 89-33. Melbourne 30 out from their own line. Melbourne 30 out from their own line. King plays the ball to Grant. Goes left to Munster. He turns it back on the inside of Wishart. Runs right across field. Then behind an unsuspecting Alec McDonald. And he's tackled 14 metres short of halfway. He'll play the ball centre field to Grant. Goes right to Jonah Pezzett, away to Pappenhausen. Quick hands on to Meany. And he runs into Staggs and Jaden Hunt, 2 short of halfway. So Selwyn Cobbo off the field, late second half. And we've also seen those hamstring injuries to Reynolds and also Ezra Mann. Little stab kick. Brand Anderson was going to get burned. Reece Walsh was going to score an amazing try and then spilled it.
I think he went to kick it because he thought Reece Walsh was coming at him, but Reece Walsh went the intercept and he ended up just dropping the ball with the line wide open.
He nearly did it in the Wanganita Waze by running out of the field of play and back in. As it went down to the short side, it was a brilliant stab kick from Meany. And from outside in, Anderson got it. All he had to do was run. But he was caught in 2 minds and spilled it, and Brisbane come away with it. Melbourne 22, Brisbane 2 inside the final minute. That's in keeping with the lot we've seen tonight, isn't it? As the Broncos send it left, Hunt away to Walsh. Sends it on the inside to Jensen. And Corey Jensen stands in the tackle of King. 12 short of halfway. 30 seconds to go. Cobbo looking distressed, sitting on the touchline. As now Brisbane through Tulty. He's whacked to the ground by McDonald. 18 in from touch, western side. Right on halfway. 20 seconds to go. Brisbane go left to right. Jensen away to Hunt, shrugged away from Munster. Parcel on the ground, knocked on, I thought by Mariner it is, and I reckon that'll do it. Pretty sloppy end to a game. The Melbourne Storm will most happily accept as a victory over their bunnies. Brisbane 22-2. They score 4 tries to 0. They led 12-2 at half-time. Melbourne 22, Brisbane 2. And that's a significant win for Melbourne. They've now won 17 of their last 18 against the Broncos.
Yeah, look, it was a professional. Look, it wasn't a great performance from the Melbourne Storm, but as they've been doing the last couple of weeks, they've been doing what it takes to win. Unfortunately, I think the game got robbed of its sort of, big game that it was with the losing of Ezra Mann and Adam Reynolds. But
that first 20 minutes was so good.
It was semi-final football.
As we sit here right now, Ryan Hoffman, Melbourne is on top of the table. They're 4 against superior to Canberra's. They're both on 36 points. Canterbury banks down third on 34. They play on Saturday night against the Warriors, who are 4th on 30 points. And Penrith's just 1 point behind them, and Brisbane stays 2 behind.
That's a worry. Penrith, who were sitting last, well, go back a number of weeks.
Round 8, last.
They're looking like getting into the top 4, and if you get in the top 4, that just opens yourself up for 2 chances at the Cherry.
I think history's proved it's a must to give yourself the best chance of winning the comp anyway.
And that's why it's big for Melbourne to finish in the top 2, because that way you get that first final. You won't have to leave Melbourne if you win that first final.
See, top 4's massive. Top 2's even bigger. Yeah. You're short of 2 home finals.
You're short of 2 home finals. You win that first one, you don't need to leave.
So, Koza's pink beanie over there in the distance. I think it's Pat Carrigan with you, Koza.
Yeah, look, it certainly is. Pat, he's still saying a couple of thank yous and farewells, obviously, from Melbourne, but it started off at a frenetic pace, didn't it? And in the end, obviously, part of the telling moments was losing your halves. Talk to us through that.
Yeah, I think we ended up with no men on the bench, so tough. Still disappointing, mate. You got to find ways to win those sort of ones, and we probably panicked a bit, and credit to Melbourne.
When you went in at half-time, what did Madge say? He talked about belief. You came out and you managed to hold it together for a long period before the damn wall eventually broke.
Yeah, just keep turning up. We're actually defending really well. Probably a poor miss that one before half-time, but if we had gone in 6-2, it would have been nice, but made a lot of positives to take out of that. Back row was playing in the centres all game. No halves. Katoni moving there, so it's a taste of chaos, and hopefully if it happens in the future, then we've had this little taste.
Can you prepare for that sort of thing when you lose both? You talked about it being a taste of chaos. How do you prepare for that?
Not really, mate, to be honest, but you just got to compete and trust each other, and for large volumes I thought we did that, but a lot of class from the Melbourne boys, just picked us off at times, and we missed our opportunities, to be honest, so credit to them.
It looks like Selwyn's also done a hamstring. Have you spoken to Adam or spoken to Ezra?
Nah, mate, obviously just finished the game, so I'm not sure of the extent of those injuries, but that's the competition at the moment, and next man up mentality, and we've got to find a way to win these next couple of weeks.
Appreciate your time.
Cheers, mate, thank you.
Yeah, that's Pat Carrigan with Ian Cohen, and they've got a lot of soul searching to do now, Brisbane. Boy, you talk about a week being a long time in footy. 1 minute, one play may have derailed their whole season.
Yeah, look, it's certainly going to affect them in the attack. I still thought they defended quite well. I think they scrambled. I think they really had some really good contact at times. Where they let themselves down were errors and penalties, just inviting Melbourne Storm in to build pressure on them, and they just couldn't withhold it.
All right, this guy had a monster of a game, the Melbourne captain Harry Grant's with Ian Cohen.
Absolutely, he's actually got Harry Grant 100th Storm game, round 23 versus Brisbane Broncos, printed on the front of that beautiful Indigenous jersey. To start off with, let's start there. Game 100, obviously in the purple.
Yeah, it's pretty special. 100 games, 100 Storm games. I had that year at the West Tigers, but this place means a whole heap to me, and playing 100 games here is very special. You come in here and you're respected through hard work and being a good person. So everyone that pulls this jersey on it's an earned opportunity, and for me to play 100 games, I know that really means a lot to me, my family, my community community and everyone that's helped out along the way. So it's probably a good chance to say thank you to a lot of people that, in the Melbourne Storm system have been a part of the journey, and, really appreciate all the work, time, effort they've put into it. Myself.
It was a turbocharged opening. That first 20 minutes, Brisbane really came to play. What were your thoughts when you saw the debris after Xavier Coates had sprinted 95 metres, and obviously the Broncos then had some issues?
Yeah, it was very fast and really fast start. We knew that was going to be the case and just had to stay in there for that. I think it was a little bit like, was it last year or the year before, where something very similar happened. Zave had an intercept down the exact same touchline and got taken into touch there. So, very similar scenes, but we just had to adapt to what had to happen there, and I thought we did a pretty good job.
And what did you think of the last 20? Because eventually, obviously, you managed to get across. Xavier got himself a double as well. Talk to us through that and how that then will springboard you into the last couple of matches.
Yeah, he's a freak, Xavier. He's best winger in the comp in terms of such a well-rounded player, athlete, and what he brings week in, week out to the team. So he's a real weapon for us there, and I'm glad he got over the stripe a couple of times tonight.
Thanks, Harry.
Thank you. Cheers.
Harry. Whoops, had a nightmare with my butts. Harry Grad down there with Ian Cowan. I'm just looking at the Broncos run home. It's mixed. So it's a huge game at Lang Park next week against the Dolphins. Then they're away to Newcastle. Then they play North Queensland. So both very winnable games, but they finish with their nemesis, Melbourne at Lang Park in round 27. So they won't want to be in a really shaky position come round 27. Although, I suppose if Melbourne's already wrapped up top two or whatever, they might send in a depleted lineup, which we've seen in the past. So who knows?
Well, but you look at the Melbourne Storm run home. They got Penrith, Canterbury, the Roosters, and then Brisbane. That's not an easy run. And they're going to want to solidify that top two spot.
All right, we'll hear more from Kozer in a tick. You can text 0467 920 222. Final quarter of the AFL. Hawthorn 96, thrashing Collingwood 33. But look, I admire your optimism when we're talking about Brisbane, but without Reynolds and Ezra Mam, their attacking options fall right off, as it would for any team.
Yeah, as it would for any, I reckon they could have got by without sort of Reynolds, because they could just bring Ben Hunt there. But to lose Mam as well, and you're moving other players around, it affects your interchange. It just totally rattles your team. So, look, you imagine Ben Hunt will be one half. I can't remember who else they've got waiting in the wings, the Broncos, to fill out at the 5'8" spot. But look, it could be Corey Pax coming in and Billy Walters going into 5'8". So they do have options there. But look, it is going to be hard. And look, you can't see Reynolds if it's a hamstring. With his history, he won't be. That's at least 6 weeks.
It'd be like if Hughes and Munster went down in the same play together.
Yeah, it'll totally throw the whole team out. But I want to put a positive, because I did think they tried really hard in defence, which is what Madge would have been proud of.
On the text line, 0467 920 222. Richie Benno would have loved that scoreline tonight. 22-2. Maury, seriously, when a team's going to wake up to the short kickoff from the restart, should be using it all through the game. Guaranteed will become the new weapon. Walker Brothers will be all over it, says Clancy. Yeah, we're seeing that much more regularly than not with the line dropouts. We don't see that as regularly with the kickoffs, do we? All right, let's check in with another start from the Melbourne Storm, Ian Cowan.
Yes, he had a brace of tries. Xavier Coates is with us. Talk to us about those last couple of tries. You do practice it. You do contort your body. I know you work really hard on it, but talk to us about how you manage to do it time after time.
I think it's all about repetition and training, and that's something I practice non-stop. And I work with Munn as well with the kicks. He gets the kicks on the spot, and it's my job to catch it. So I know my role in the team, and I just have to execute it on the night.
You elevate at one level, and then you manage to find and reach it out. Were you a bit nervous when you were watching the replay when it went to the bunker?
Oh, a little bit nervous when it went to the bunker, but I felt like I got tackled in the air, so I thought something would come out of it. Whether it was a no try or we got the ball back, that had to be a penalty, because I felt like when I caught the ball, I was getting taken straight down to the ground. But yeah, it was a tough win tonight, but the boys will be stoked with that.
Without even knowing about it, you left a trail of debris with that run down to the far end.
Yeah.
When you turned around and had a look and there was a lot of Broncos on the ground, what did you think? What did Storm think?
To be honest, I was trying to catch my breath. I wish I got that try so he could get a bit more of a break, but Selwyn coming from across the field and he had a big smile on his face when he was chasing me down as well. So, he's a top athlete, and it's good to see Sally back playing, but I seen he picked up an injury the last 3 minutes of the game, so I'm hoping it's all the best for him, because he's a great fella.
And Adam Reynolds and Ezra Mann, obviously the same play as well.
Yeah, exactly. All those boys are great fellas. I'm mates with all of them, so you don't wish that upon anyone, and I know firsthand with hamstring injuries how annoying they can be, and re-aggravating it, trying to come back too soon. So I hope it's not too bad. Hopefully they get back out on the field, and hopefully we get to play them in the last round this year.
An amazing game to start the Indigenous round of football too.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a massive tribute to all the Indigenous players within the community and within our club, and not only our club but every other club in the NRL. So it's good to showcase our talent, and it was a tough win tonight, and we're looking forward to next week.
Well done, Xavier.
Thank you. Xavier Coates with Ian Cohen. Hang around a moment, Coates. We'll get your final thoughts in a sec, but we need your ABC Player of the Year points, Ryan Hoffman.
Uno, dos, tres. 3 points goes to Harry Grant. I thought, his efforts both with and without the ball were tremendous. 2 points.
Is it just me, Hoffy? Sorry to interrupt. Has his form gone to a new level since Origin?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
It certainly has. I mean, he's just been tremendous, but it's the work he does off the ball. It's the stuff that other people might not see unless you're looking for it. He fills in a lot of gaps. 2 points has to go to Xavier Coates. Could have very easily got 3, but Xavier, you just take 5 hit-ups and kick to Xav. And 1 point I'm going to give to Stefano Tuikamanu. I think he had a brilliant game last week, and he backed it up again tonight. He went head-to-head with Payne Haas in that first 20 minutes and was very strong, and was a big reason the Storm were getting those quick play balls.
Yeah, more than held his own, didn't he, Stefano Tuikamanu? Melbourne 22, Brisbane 2. 3 points Harry Grant, 2 points Xavier Coates, 1 point Stefano Tuikamanu. For Melbourne, by the way, for 22 points, tries to Tyron Wishart in the 29th minute, Ryan Pappenhausen in the 38th, and then Xavier Coates 62nd and 76 minutes. Nick Meaney, 3 goals from 4 attempts, 3 restarts, 1 unsuccessful challenge. Nothing for Brisbane apart from an Adam Reynolds penalty goal that gave them a 2-0 lead. 2 restarts, penalties 7-4 to the Melbourne Storm, and after leading 12-2 at half-time and before a crowd of 21,324, Melbourne has continued its dominance over Brisbane with a 22 points to 2 win. Ian Koza, last word from you, mate. That's a very, very good win again from Melbourne on a quite dramatic night for the Broncos.
Yeah, look, it's an amazing record that Storm have got over the Broncos. The Broncos, to their credit, they went across and thanked their fans. There was a lot of travelling fans here at AAMI Park tonight. The Broncos had amazing support. But look, the storyline coming out of it, Mam, Reynolds and now Cobbo as well. They play Melbourne again in just a month's time. I don't know that any of those players are going to be back. Maybe Cobbo looked like it might have been the minimal sort of hamstring, but Adam Reynolds certainly knew it was done. That's going to be the big news story out of this, and it's certainly going to have a big impact for Maguire's team, you would suggest, for the Brisbane Broncos. But another great win for Melbourne Storm, and they just managed to keep finding a way to do it.
Koza, thank you, mate. Catch you soon. Hoffy, always great fun to be down here and work with you boys. I'll see you soon, no doubt.
See you in a couple of weeks.
All right, sounds good. Ryan Hoffman, thank you to our man of sound, Hollywood, Stuart Baker, under fire from some listeners, but holding his nerve. Thank you, Stewie. To our boss, Tim Verrill, he's down there helping Koza out there. Don't know what doing, but I think taking photos for our social media team. To Ned Hall in the studio, to Ralph Tucker, our producer. I'm Andrew Moore. This is how Melbourne defeated the Broncos.
I'm a proud black young boy with the killer flow. Listen to the year that here, listen to it blow. The 2025 NRL Premiership. It's Indigenous round.
There was a shove on the marker, so a penalty goes against Melbourne to the Brisbane Broncos. 35 out from the Melbourne line. Here's Reynolds. Right boot. Moves comes in, the veteran halfback. He strikes it, likes it, kicks the goal. First points, Broncos. Adam Reynolds, by the way, has been limping in back play. Down to you, Koza.
Yeah, he chased Xavier Coates. He was just about on top of him.
Ezra Mann's gone too.
Pulled the hamstring. He's gone down into the shed. So there's a huge story here. Ezra Mann is hobbling off.
It's played there by Anderson. They do go right to Munster. There's another Bronco down in back play. Wishart. He threatens to slice right through, and he does. Tyron Wishart, a brilliant individual try. He had slipped over. He stepped through Hedrington and Hunt, and he's able to score. First try of the game, Melbourne's Tyron Wishart. Takes it 10 metres out. Goes left now to Wishart. Links up with Liero, centre field. Plays out the back to Munster to Pappenhausen. He dummies goes himself. Beats 1-2. That's the human mullet at his best. Ryan Pappenhausen over for Melbourne. There was one set too many for the Brisbane defence. Played to Grant, goes right to Munster. Munster steps away from one. Spinning, standing, cut off low. 5 metres out. Now it's played to Grant. Short side left to Xavier Coates. He flies through the air in the corner. And he scores a typical Xavier Coates try. 6 metres out, although it is away, Pappenhausen. Last tackle, Melbourne. Grant goes right, Munster kicks for Coates, through comes Xavier. Xavier the catch, reaches out to try and score the try. Does he get it down, Xavier Coates? Yes, says referee Grant Atkins.
In our opinion, the fact that he gets to the line with a penalty try, you have a decision.
Wow! Well, it kind of makes sense. So if he was going to get
tackled,
correct. So Xavier Coates still gets credit for the try. We don't need to take anything back or rub anything out. Pretty sloppy end to a game that Melbourne Storm will most happily accept as a victory over their bunnies. Brisbane, 22-2. They score 4 tries to nil. They led 12-2 at half-time. Melbourne 22, Brisbane 2. And that's a significant win for Melbourne. They've now won 17 of their last 18 against the Broncos.
ABC Sport. Indigenous Round, recognising the contributions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples to the game of rugby league.
ABC News. Good evening, I'm William Howard. US President Donald Trump claims billions of dollars are flowing into America as new sweeping tariffs on more than 90 countries come into force. The BBC's Sarunjana Tawari reports.
Many products, including those from the European Union, Japan and South Korea, now face a 15% tariff, even with trade deals struck with Washington to avert steeper levies. Hours before the higher tariffs came in, the US president threatened to impose a 100% duty on foreign-made computer chips. Some of Asia's biggest chip makers will be exempt because Mr. Trump said those with factories in the US would not have to pay. But experts say smaller American businesses will be affected, especially those importing chips from countries like Malaysia and the Philippines.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he plans to speak to Germany, France and Italy to discuss progress towards peace in Ukraine. Mr. Zelensky says he plans to discuss a ceasefire, a leaders' summit and long-term security with the 3 European countries. His comments follow a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff ahead of a Friday deadline for Moscow to agree to a ceasefire or face new US sanctions. A lawyer representing Kathleen Folbig says a multi-million-dollar ex gratia payment awarded to her client is not enough. Bridget Murphy has more.
Attorney General Michael Daly confirmed Ms Folbig would be awarded an ex gratia payment after spending 20 years in prison. In 2003, she was convicted of killing her 4 children, but in 2023, those convictions were quashed and she was acquitted and released from prison. In a statement, Ms Folbig's lawyer, Rani Rago, said the payment of $2 million is profoundly unfair and unjust. Ms Rago said the sum offered is a moral affront and woefully inadequate. The Attorney General's office said the government would not comment further.
Two witnesses who were at the scene of the chopper crash which killed Outback Wrangler star Chris Wilson have given evidence in the month-long trial of Matt Wright. Oliviana Lathuris has more.
Mr. Wright has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of attempting to pervert the course of justice for allegedly interfering with an investigation into the 2022 crash. The first witness to give evidence was prominent NT businessman Mick Burns, who fought back tears as he described arriving at the scene of the accident. The second witness was former police officer Neil Mellon, who told the court he removed a phone from Mr. Wilson's body and heard another person say Danny, Chris Wilson's wife, didn't need to see what was on it. Mr. Mellon said he was later told the phone was gone and in the ocean.
Researchers say insects are being threatened by more frequent El Niño events in the world's tropical regions. A new study from an international collaboration of scientists has revealed a global decline in arthropods. One of the Australian researchers, Nigel Stork from Griffith University, says El Niño is becoming more intense.
We found that El Niño, which is when you get the drier and hotter years in most parts of the tropics, was causing declines in the insects. Now, normally, La Nina, then they would recover from that. But with increasing El Niños and increasing intensity, the La Ninas just can't catch up.
Carlton says Michael Voss will remain as coach of the AFL club after the board discussed his future at a marathon meeting last night. Tom Maddox reports.
The Blues began the season with high hopes of reaching the finals again, but a poor return of just 7 wins has heaped pressure on Voss's tenure. Following a 5-hour board meeting last night, the club has emphatically thrown its support behind Voss, insisting it's committed to Voss coaching into 2026 and seeing out his contract. In a message to members, the club says incoming CEO Graham Wright recommended to the board that Voss remain as coach, and it was unanimously endorsed. The club says Voss's ability to coach in the face of incredible pressure shows his strength as a leader.
And a magnitude 6.2 earthquake has struck off Taiwan's northeastern coast. The island's Central Weather Administration says it had a depth of 88 kilometres. The quake shook some buildings in the capital, Taipei, but there have been no immediate reports of damage. And you're up to date with the latest from ABC News. For more news at any time, you can download the ABC Listen app.
It started with a family lunch, and a week later, 3 of Aaron Patterson's guests were dead.
That lunch has been under intense scrutiny.
The whole story of this deadly lunch. Hear the series now via Mushroom Case Daily on the ABC Listen app or wherever you get your podcasts.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
In case you missed it.
It's the 12-month anniversary next Wednesday, August the 6th, of my favourite medal at the Paris Olympics. Naomi Fox winning gold to complete a momentous games for the Fox family and a hell of a story for Naomi. We were pretty lucky to speak to her on ABC Sport in March last year. She hadn't qualified. She was talking about this so-called $1 million race, and then a couple months later, an Olympic champion. So I'm very excited to have her back on. Naomi, thanks for joining us here again on ABC Sport.
Thanks for having me, and it's crazy to think, what's happened since we last spoke on air together. So it's pretty cool to have that time to reflect.
It is. We'll chat all about that. But my first question with athletes is always the same. So, Naomi, I want you to wind back the clock for me to a really early memory of sport as a kid. This can be just anything, any sport, some memory that comes to mind that's going to be lodged in your brain forever.
Honestly, it's hard to know what's like memories from watching home videos or from, your actual memory. But really one of like my earliest memories was of the Sydney 2000 Olympics. We moved here when I was around 3 years old. And so it was kind of like my first experience with seeing sport and seeing Australia. And honestly, Ian Thorpe kind of had this, he had this chokehold on me growing up. I was so obsessed with Ian Thorpe and it was just the most amazing athlete in my eyes. So to see his swim and to be in the pool in the stands in 2000 was just, I don't know if it's like my earliest memory or if it's just home videos, but it was, I think, one that really just had a huge impact on me growing up. I was a massive fan of all of those swimmers in that Dolphin team at the time.
Were you thinking then at all, was there a tiny dream or maybe a big dream to be like, God, it'd be cool to go to the Olympics?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was always at the back of my mind, and I kind of grew up in a family that was always involved in the Olympics. My parents were coaches, and then, did the 2004 welcome home ceremony and got to touch an Olympic gold medal and put one around my neck, and, was always involved with the canoe slalom athletes that my parents were coaching. But it didn't really feel like an accessible dream or something that would actually happen to me until that qualification event opened up in June of 2024. It was otherwise always, well, there's just one spot. My sister's the best athlete, and, you can dream, but realistically, it's a very slim chance.
We're here on ABC Sport, joined by Naomi Fox, the gold medalist in the kayak cross Paris 2024, just under a year ago. So I mentioned that $1 million race, which happened, I think it was around June, was it? A bit over a month before.
June the 9th. Yeah.
June 9th. You've got the date locked in your head forever. So, firstly, just take me to that race, the pressure and what you recall from, getting through.
It was, definitely $1 million race. It was a one shot to qualify for the Olympic Games compared to other sports that might have, meets that they can qualify for a year. Just they have to make that qualifying time. For me, it was you have one day on June the 9th to be on the podium at this global qualifying race with a lot of different athletes, including the world champion, the silver medalist at the World Championships, and a European champion as well. So a lot at risk, essentially, and extremely nerve-wracking. But I think, I had prepared so well mentally and physically for that race. And it was the first time that I really felt an Olympic opening and a chance to qualify, that putting all the eggs in my basket and just arriving at that race, even though I was so beyond nervous, but then also, eerily calm, knowing that I'd done the work. I think I was so at ease knowing that whatever happened, I gave it absolutely everything and could only, grow from this experience. And I was just hopeful that all the hard work would pay off at the right time, and that the character and the fighting spirit, we kind of developed to lead into that moment would pay off at the right time. And I feel so lucky and grateful that it did. And it was the most incredible team win, which is kind of rare in our sport of canoe slalom, to feel such a massive team win that, we qualified another girl for the canoe slalom Olympic team. And it would be the first time that we would have 2 girls and 2 boys competing at the Olympic Games.
So that is June 9. The Olympics starts around the 26th of July. So there's 6 or 7 weeks. You talk about your mental preparation. Is your mindset in that time, I'm stoked, I've made the Olympics, like whatever happens, happens? Or are you now like, I'm winning gold?
I think there was like a bit of both. One of them was, oh my gosh, I did so much mental preparation for Prague for like a whole year. Now I've only got 6 weeks. Will I be as impressive, or will I be able to pull it off if I haven't, practiced and, done all that manifestation and just, the mental resilience and the work that goes into it. And there was this also feeling of, whatever happens, I'm so proud of myself for making it and for living my dream of, finally getting to the Olympic Games, something I never, ever imagined that I would do. So there was this element of like, I have nothing left to lose. And there was also this feeling of, there is no pressure because the pressure's done. I've proved that I'm, worthy. I've proved I've made it through the hardest selection race, that now, I deserve to be here. And everything that happens is a bonus. So I did kind of go into it knowing that, I was so happy and excited and proud of myself for being there, but also this element of, there are going to be 3 Olympic medals that are distributed. I have beaten everyone before that's on the start list. So, why not me, essentially?
Why not me? That is brilliant. So I want to ask you, before we get to the Olympics, when we spoke to you in March, you told us a beautiful story about your grandparents. You were born in France. Your grandparents still live there. I saw a video recently. You took your grandma for a swim for the first time in ages, but really sadly, you lost your grandfather right before the Olympics. How hard was that?
I actually lost my grandfather the night that I qualified for the Olympic Games, so on June 9th. So it was a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. There was this sense of, I think, calm and I don't know if peace is the right word, knowing that he heard that I had qualified, because he was such a huge lover of canoe slalom. He, alongside my other granddad, who sadly passed in 2018, they both had canoe clubs that they founded. So they were big on the sport and they loved watching us. And my grandpa had planned on going to Paris and even extended his trip knowing that I could potentially qualify for the kite cross. And then sadly his health declined, but just knowing that he found out that I had qualified and then he passed that night just kind of, gave us this sense of peace, knowing that he finally knew that I would also be there, because he obviously had hoped that I would be able to achieve my dreams, and then we knew that they would both have the best two seats in the grandstand. So I think it's beautiful to kind of think of it that way and know that, you know, your whole family is behind you and they are hoping that you get to achieve their dreams, whether they're here or not.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm getting emotional listening to it. You're listening to The Saturday Sledge. Naomi Fox, gold medalist for Australia at Paris 2024, is joining us here and chatting to you about that incredible experience. Let's talk about the Olympics, as your event was right at the end of the Olympics. Jess had won her 2 golds. Could you feel over those couple of weeks that the pressure was building and you just really wanted to get out there and start competing?
It's so interesting because I'd say that I'm naturally a very nervous person, or like, you know, I can get really emotional, or the stress can just bottle up and I really feel the pressure. But we were in this sort of bubble in Paris, and I was so proud of Jess for, you know, making history and achieving her dreams. And one of the things that we kind of had to make sure we managed was not getting too overly excited and depleting, you know, all the energy stores before my race, because it's so easy to get invested in everyone else's Olympic journey. But we managed that really well, and I didn't feel pressure. I think I was just so ready and pumped to finally become an Olympian, because until I had done my first race, I wasn't technically an Olympian. Right. So I was firstly ready to take the start line and become an Olympian. And then it was really a process-driven, you know, matter of, you know, taking every single heat as it came and trying to finish top 2 and getting to the final. And honestly, even today, I'm just so amazed by the way that we kind of managed the pressure, managed the, you know, that lead in, because it's still something today that I think, wow, there were so many reasons to kind of debilitate and crumble with the pressure and the fear and the anxiety. But it's, I think it was a massive testament to the team around me and to just being so ready and excited to finally have my moment. And it's something, I'm so proud of.
You talk about your grandparents starting clubs. Did you feel like there were generations of things that had happened and everything had fallen into place? Could you sense that family history all the way through?
There was more this element of like life was kind of just, without sounding woo-woo, but, you know, like opening the doors, and there was everything I needed to succeed and everything I needed to, you know, go out there and be so proud of the journey and to just, you know, be myself. There was my Marseille club members in the crowd. There was everyone from Paris that a lot of people knew, like mum's connection, having raced for France and having won France's first ever Olympic medal in the female category. So a lot of people, you know, knew who we were and would cheer us on. They would cheer for the French louder when we were in the same heats, naturally. But there was this element of, you know, people kind of supporting us and feeling so supported from the Australian Olympic team, and just, this magic feeling of just knowing that it was like our time and our moment, and really kind of seizing that and giving it everything is just the best feeling in the world. But it does feel like, you know, you couldn't have scripted it better, and it feels too good to be true even a year on when you talk about and reflect on the whole story.
We're chatting to Naomi Fox here on ABC Sport, reliving that gold just under a year ago right now. Before you won the gold, though, there was a heat with your sister, and when I spoke to you a year and a half ago, you know, we asked you about that idea that there's one person standing in your way of your Olympic dream, and it's your sister, and she's the best in the world. And then it comes down to her being in the same heat as you. You won that heat, but how conflicted was it all?
It felt like the media had manifested that heat. It was so early as well in the competition, which is just really unlucky in that sense. And when I found out, I just felt so initially kind of, you know, scared, upset, even like, oh God, like I'm going to get knocked out straight away. And I think, you know, again, that's sort of like that working on the self-talk and working on the fact that, you know, why should I be knocked out? But it